Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
They're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly, Miller's still start trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry.
There's no catching him there, unfortunately, either. What do we expect? What do we expect from this track here as well, though, Steve? Because it is a tricky circuit. They are going multi-class at it. You know, it's going to be a tough one for these drivers.
Everybody seems to think this is an easy track. And I've raced here many times. It's obviously it's a hard favourite amongst racing drivers because it does allow you to go wheel to wheel pretty much throughout the entire track. There's nowhere that you can't fit two cars. And yeah, it's not as easy as it looks. Some of these corners you think, well, it's just a nice easy right-hander. It's 90 degrees. It's not. There's nothing easy about this track at all. The camber changes from corner to corner. The elevation changes. It's very easy to get a corner. Even just a tenth wrong can cause you major problems in a large field as well. One little mistake in one corner, suddenly you've dropped 5 positions and you're getting overwhelmed. It is not easy. Don't let anybody fool you into thinking it is. And obviously we've got big gravel traps all the way around this track as well. Bit of an old school one, especially on the exit of turn 4 or 5, depending on which way you look at this track. But yeah, definitely not easy. I think these guys are going to have a struggle here, but there's going to be plenty of overtaking and racing at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the things we will be looking out for, the overtaking itself. Some of the tricky corners you've got, obviously down into turn 1 can obviously be tricky depending on how you're going to take it. You don't want it to run wide because if you do get it running wide, you're going to be in trouble on the left-hand side as well. You know, there's a lot of aspects of this track that I think can be... can play a massive part in the racing, Steve. I think that's probably the best way of putting it because it is such a short circuit. You know, it's not very long. It's like 9 corners. It's 124 lap times for Timon Suvic. You know, it's going to be quick, very fast race. And I think it's going to be a struggle for some here.
Yeah, definitely with that traffic as well, with multi-class racing, it's going to be a couple of corners, especially the last 2, corners 9 and 10, RedBull Mobile. They're going to be tough to overtake those slower class cars. But one thing that I'm really interested in, looking forward to seeing, is whether or not that orange zone is going to play a big factor. Because the thing about this track is that orange zone there is the best place to overtake. You get big runs, big toes down into turn 3 and 4. And I'm wondering whether or not some people are going to... They don't usually in this league. The orange zone usually means, yeah, we're just going to go single file until we all get settled. But I get the feeling that today we might see some overtakes in that orange zone, and that could cause big drama, big penalties, big incidents.
Yeah, absolutely. Mr. Reese, good evening. Welcome to my home race. Welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us here as well. Well, let's look forward to see how we get on. We'll bring you up what is left of practice at the moment before we then go into quali. Once we go into quali, we then go into a warm-up. We'll have a chat with Ross Smith, of course, who can tell us the state of where we're at with the mod and what's going on and stuff like that. So, you know, let's see what happens. There has been car changes as well. CMS Pro, which, of course, is Daniel Kirby and John Uyan, have changed over from the Panos to the Porsche 911 GT 198. They do only have one car change and they have activated it on this round. So there you go. They've changed cars as well. And of course, Kirby's leading the championship by 3 points. Not necessarily sure that's a good idea this late in the season, Steve, to be honest.
Well, lots of differences between the 2 cars as well. And they're going to... It's going to take a little bit of bedding in to get used to that. They're not going to have the kind of acceleration or stability that they had there in the Panos. So the Porsche, everybody knows what a Porsche is like. It's ready to murder you with a knife at your back at any given moment. So they're going to have to get used to that, get used to it quickly.
Absolutely. I think that's going to be one of the things. That is one of the things they are going to have to look out for. We are going into qualifying now, so let's see who will bring up and who will get the times on the board. We have got the LMGT2 and Pro and AMs out on circuit first. Let's see if Ross Smith here can cement his place and take this championship this week, depending on what JT Tammy gets up to there, Steve. A lot of there's a lot of pressure on JT Tammy. He needs to stay within kind of contact of Ross Smith. He can't really afford to lose any more here because Smith could go into them last 2 rounds and be and win the championship.
Yeah, I mean, he's already got a very good chance to take Ricky Monsters to that top spot today as well. If he gets, I think it's around it's only a few points that he needs to get the team championship, but Ross Smith just needs to keep his focus and make sure he doesn't make any major mistakes. And JT Tammy is going to feel the pressure building up as this race goes on. And if he's in the wrong position, come the end of it, it's game over.
Yeah, I fully agree. It will be a tough one for him. He cannot afford to be losing points left, right and centre. If he does do that, he is going to be in deep trouble. He's got to take this victory away. He's got to have that opportunity to go into the last 2 races. Now, if he does take the win, of course, he'll be on bump up to 50. For instance, if Ross Smith finishes in 2nd place, he will be on 68. So 50 to 68, you know, he's still got a bit of a mission to go into the last 2 with. It is there that he's got the opportunity, but I think it's very, very, very slim for him to take that win. But if he gives it every bean he's possibly gets and gives it the best choice he's got there, Steve, at least you put it in with a shout, right?
Yeah, certainly, and it's always tough at this stage of the season because they both know that one mistake could cost them big, and that pressure mounting as the race goes on. You've got to think to yourself, just make sure that you're just hitting your marks. That's all you need to focus on is the next corner, and not think about that championship. You can't let it get into your head too much, and hopefully Ross can come out with the victory here this evening. But he's still got what's the word I'm looking for?
You okay? Or?
Just about, but yeah, he's still got the opportunity in the last 2 races. Opportunity was the word I was looking for. I'll get there at the end. But he's got the opportunity the next 2 races to still pile that pressure onto JT Tammy. So yeah, JT Tammy's got to get everything perfect from here till the end of the season. And but we have got Adrian Rice going fastest in Sector 1 here in qualifying as we're on board with JT Tammy with his beautiful Ukrainian livery on that car. And that Sailing Mustang looks absolutely fantastic. Sector 2 is also fastest for Rice. So getting heated here in the GT2s in qualifying.
Yeah, it is at the moment. Let's see what Adrian Rice is going to be able to put on the board at the moment. He's in the Marcos. JT Tammy with a time on the board there as well. 1:30.249 for Ross Smith. Adrian Rice 1:30.143. What's Tammy going to do here? He's going to go over the line as well. 1:32.066. Brian Rice gets it there currently at the moment with Smith in 2nd with Tammy in 3rd. Didn't Kirby and Uyan change for a 2nd time? Yes, they did. They were in the Nissan last time. You are correct there, Mr. Reese. But if I remember correctly, that was a forced change due to the fact that the Panos, there was an issue with the Panos at, I think it was the last round we did, if I remember correctly. There was an issue with the Panos, and that's why they changed it. Because it wasn't a car choice, I think they changed purely because of the fact that there was an issue with the Panos. So, yeah, they're going to have this is now a choice change, if you get what I mean, where the last one was a forced change. So, yeah, that's why we had that situation.
But JT Tammy, I wonder if he's going to be able to settle the lap. He gets a bit squiggly there in turn 9 on entry. Doesn't look very planted, this Sadie. As a bit of sparks fly off the front left corner there as he comes through the final corner. Absolutely fantastic corner that, if behind the wheel of the race car you really just chuck it in. But it's a 1:31.7 on that lap, so he did improve but by a couple of tenths, but not quite good enough to take him to the top echelons of the grid this evening.
On top echelons, that's a word I haven't heard for a while. Echelons.
Perfectly good word. What's wrong with echelons?
I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's not a perfectly good word. I'm saying that it's just not a word that people use all the time. So Maximilian Petrovsky, excuse me, is on his out lap at the moment as well. He's done a 1:33.458. No times for Peter Meyer and Kevin Torrance in the Viper and the Porsche 911 GT2 there as well. You know, how are these guys going to cope with these faster cars coming through on them, though, Steve? Because it's very tough here. It's not massively wide. It's wide enough for 2 cars, but if you don't use your noddle you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, certainly. You're going to have to pick your moments when you're going to, and as we've said this a million times before, be predictable. But if you're coming into turn 5 or the horseshoe as it's called, and it's a power horse, it's no good thinking, oh well, he's just going to assume or know that I'm going to brake late and go wide to let him take the inside, because you might go around the outside at that stage. So a lot of the onus though is going to be on the faster class in order to get the move done nice and cleanly, and you do that by doing it out of the corner rather than into the corner. It's sometimes too big a risk to try and beat these GT2s on the brakes. The braking comparison of performance comparison isn't all that different between the cars. So, but there are some big heavy braking zones here that you definitely can take those kind of risks, especially into turn 3. We're going to see a lot of those faster cars really sending it into this corner here that we're seeing Maximilian go through now. If you get the inside line there, it just so powerful. You get the better exit in the faster car, and we'll see a lot of moves done there. But like you say, got to use your head. Got to make sure that you're thinking ahead, and it's going to be tough for some of the drivers, because this amount of drivers on the circuit at the same time, it's going to be non-stop. You're going to be constantly thinking about who's in front of me, who's behind me, how are they going to catch me in this corner or that corner, and it's going to be a lot to think about.
Yeah, exactly. I do fully agree. They've got 29 cars on the circuit. It's going to be a tough one here as well, with only 7 in the LMGT2s. So they're going to have 22 LMGT1 AM pros coming hurtling past them at the moment, which for me is just a scary thought in general. If you can see Petrovsky just coming out of turn 7 on that run down into Joachim Rindt of turn 8, the right-hander here as well. He's got to be hard on the brakes, take the curb on the inside if he can, let it open up, let it run a little bit wide, take as much as you're allowed to on that exit, dip it in the dip coming out the final corner, get on the gas, and then nope, you don't want to be getting on the gas too early there, Steve, because that's what happens.
Yeah, that certainly didn't go to plan for the Porsche driver there. Straight into the pit wall barrier, and that's lapped on for him. But that kind of shows you Austria and the pitfalls of it. It's not as easy as people seem to think it is at times. And Ross Smith, P1 there. Fantastic lap from him. Purple sector 1, absolutely smashed that sector, and then absolutely smashes the curb on the exit on his in lap and ends up in the barrier.
Not an ideal scenario, to be honest, for Ross Smith, but he is sitting on pole. He's doing what he needs to do. What's going to be happening with Adrian Rice in that Marcos? Not faster in the first sector there. You can see it in the bottom right hand corner, guys. Is yellow. Green is a personal best. Purple is best overall. And then when his fastest lap comes through, if you look at it, and he's very pretty at the top of the timing tower, you know he's been fast. So let's see what Adrian Rice can do. I think this could be an interesting battle, if JT Tammy is struggling at this circuit, I think Ross Smith is going to need someone to give him a bit of a push here. Whoa, there's fire coming out of the back of his car. Batman's off on the track at the A1-Ring in Austria here with Adrian Rice. He needs to get out the car, Where's the marshals? Where's the extinguishers? We're going to need the ambulances here, Steve, I think, as well, for that Adrian Rice machine. It went up in smoke, flying, coming out the back end there. That was very exciting.
It certainly was, but, the lap itself wasn't very fire. He was fairly hard down on his delta there, but, yeah, the pit crews have got some work to do now as the Batmobile steams into the pit and needs to put out.
Yeah, he has as well. Hopefully he'll get out the car and no long-term burns there for Adrian Rice, of course. LMGT1s are lining up ready to go. We are just coming round to the last 15 seconds. Ross Smith there he's on an out lap. He needs to get over the line. If he can get over the line in the next 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, yes, he will be able to finish his lap. But that will be the last lap from Ross Smith, as the hypercars, or the LMGT1s we should say, will be coming out on track. Oh, he's done all that effort, went to try and get there and then ended up in the gravel. So that's a bit of a shame for Ross Smith. Let's see what the big boys can do. This is it now. These are the big guzzlers. These are the the ones that everybody wants to aspire to be in. Let's see how they're going to get on. How do we think they're going to do here today as well, Steve?
Well, honestly, Dan Kirby is, you can't look past him, but in practice, a few of the other guys have been putting in stonking laps as well, so it should be fantastic to see tight qualifying here. I get the feeling it's not going to be much between the top few that end up there. And Dahlgren still has a very good chance in this championship. As fast as Kirby has been, and as many wins as Kirby has, and there's 5 that he's got under his belt, but he's only 3 points ahead of Dahlgren there. So Dahlgren still in with a shout. If he gets on the pole position here, that's going to make his job all the easier. But it's never easy racing Kirby, for sure. Be interesting to see what happens though.
Yeah. I think the problem with is with Kirby as well. Like, as you say, he's got them, wins, but he had some very not great races as well. And then obviously he missed a couple at the beginning of the season. The 2.5-hour Le Mans, which as we know was a double points situation, and then he's gone on to win the last 4. So it's not like Dan Kirby really needs any encouragement to take the victory. He just had a bit of a rough start at the 2 hours of Long Beach where he got second, then Sebring where he was off the pace down there, and then Oschersleben he was off as well. So that's why Dahlgren, I think, has kept that 3-point deficit. I think if overall Kirby had a great opening and a great beginning to the season, I don't think Dahlgren would have been near him. I've got to be honest, the guy just looks smokingly fast. Regardless of what car he's in, regardless of what series he's in, he is just looking speedy as well. And I think that's the thing. It's a very tough one for these guys at the moment to try and even look past Kirby, the form he's been in, because he's been doing a great job in the middle. He's been doing a great job in the modern section and the historic, and he is faster in Sector 1. If he takes this today, Steve, I think he'll just run away with it.
Yeah, very possible. And 5th win on the boat, with only 2 races to go. He's certainly the man to beat. But it's Brian Hall at the moment who's tearing up the time boards. 2 purple sectors here for the Hall Brothers Racing Team driver. And I'm interested to see how many more puns we can get in about the rice cooker coming into the pits on fire.
Nice. Like that. Yeah. Brian Hall is the fastest in the LMGT1 at the moment. Let's see what these guys are going to be able to do. Where is Kirby on the track? He's gone into first there, Steve. 1:23.077.
Yeah, fantastic lap from Kirby there. 8/10 faster than Hall. But it's Wouter who's fastest in Sector 1 there by 600ths there as well. So if he needs to keep these next 2 sectors absolutely spot on. But look at this, his Mercedes-Benz is wiggling through turns 7 and 8. And it's not that planted at the moment, but the final 2 corners matter a lot. Oh, he's got very sideways there in turn 9 or 8, depending on which way you look at this track. It's always a heated debate which corners are called which numbers at this track, because like you said at the top of the broadcast there, turn 2, is it really a turn?
No. That's the thing as well, and and Wouter de Bruin going into 3rd place there with a 1:23.450 for de Bruin, an absolutely stellar job from him. And I think that's the misrepresentation of this track. You're never really sure where you're at, because you could go 1, which is Niki Lauda, to 3, which is Remus, to 4, which is obviously down as Gossier, which they've got here. But if you're obviously the newer track map, it's Schlossgold, then you go through Roush and Worth, which is 5 and 6 out of 7. There's a lot of what it could be compared to what it's listed as, I think. And that's the thing with multiple circuits, like Spa, Pouhon, double Gosh, double, it's all red. Just pick a name and stick with it and give it to us, because everybody calls it something completely different. So we'll see how that gets on here as well. See how they go, but at the moment, Dahlgren out in front with Kirby, De Bruin, Suvic, Hall and Funk. And look, that the gap between P1 and P2 at the moment is literally 7 thousandths of a second there, Steve. This could be a close one if Dahlgren can stay with Kirby.
Yeah, Dahlgren's come out swinging, hasn't he? He's not taking prisoners and really trying to push Kirby all the way. But short tracks means very short distances between Oz. Wouter de Bruin's getting very out of shape there in the final corner, kicking up dust on the exit. And yeah, that's a tough one for Wouter to ruin that lap. But he was 4/10 up in that final sector still some time to be gained for Wouter.
There definitely is, and he's clearly got the pace, right? He just needs to hook it up. He needs to just make sure he's got it on the track. There is Daniel Kirby in that Porsche 911 GT1. He's about to start a lap here as well. He's just finishing off his out lap. Here he goes now. Let's have a look and see how he gets on here into turn one. He's got to be on the brakes as well, just tucking it in over the curb, letting it run a little bit on the exit. You don't want to hit that sausage on the left-hand side because it will spin you up as you try and power out of the corner. Now this is the run up from turn one into turn two. Uphill braking, brake later, get it on that inside curb, up over the dip we go. Oh, a little bit squirrely on exit there for Dan Kirby before we go on that run down into turn three. Now we've got a downhill braking zone. That's going to be tricky as well. Just as the curb begins on the left-hand side, start applying the brakes. You've got to lock it in. There's a purple in sector one here. Let's see how he gets on as he goes on that run around turn four, coming into Power Horse, the left-hander as well. On the brakes, hook it up over the inside if you can. Let it run a little bit on the exit. There he goes. He's hooked it up now as Dan Kirby. Let's see what he's going to do on the exit of turn six. Now we've got that run coming out of seven. Take as much as the curb as you're allowed. We're going to see the next sector pop up very, very shortly. We're purple again. Now we're coming down into Joachim Rindt, the final two on the corners. Round the penultimate, hold it down, Kirby. In the dip we go. On the exit, one more. He's going to power out now. How is he going to get off of Dan Kirby? Is he going to come over the line? Is he going to be pole position? Is it going to be pole position? It is pole position. 122.70 from Dan Kirby. Stellar run with Magnus Dahlgren in purple in sector one there, Steve.
Yeah, Magnus Dahlgren trying to fight back as hard as he can, but what a lap that was there from Kirby. He really hit every mark that he needed to hit. And this corner here, Power Horse, so difficult to get that right. The off-camber nature of the corner means that you've got to be very patient on that throttle and make sure you hug that inside apex. And here we'll see Magnus Dahlgren in the second sector. What's he done? He's still off, but it's only a green sector for him. Is he going to have enough here to take out Kirby and knock him off that top spot? It doesn't look like he's going to have traffic as well. And big snap of oversteer into the exit of the final corner. I don't think he's going to have done it, but let's kind of see how close can he get. It is a 122.67. It's 300ths behind. Oh, that is so close.
Man, that is unbelievable. 300ths of a second away from it here. 2 minutes left. Kirby's going to be on an out lap. They're going to be going at it still once more here, Steve. This is going to come down to the wire with these two.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's going to go to the very end of qualifying here. Still across the point and saying even James and Jake. Or who Jake is. He's not here.
Oh, that's Jake, who was here on the last one. There must have been an issue with the YouTube description on this one. We have got me and Steve here this evening, Phil. So, yeah, never mind. We've got Magnus Dahlgren down in your bottom right-hand corner here as well. They're both on outlaps, is Dan Kirby and Dahlgren. Kirby's playing that Formula One trick here, Steve. Waiting until as late as possible to be the last one over the line.
Yep, trying to get taking full advantage of all of the rubber being put down on the track, giving it a little extra space. But he's not too far off, is he? We saw a couple of mistakes. We saw that little twitch a couple of times from Dahlgren, and he's still only 300ths behind. So if he hooks up a lap as well as Kirby looked as though he hooked his lap off, I get the feeling he's got the pace to get himself on pole.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see what Dahlgren is able to do. Oh, he's got traffic in front of him. Dahlgren, you see him in the bottom right there as well. That's going to be a bit of a struggle for him on that run now. He's coming into, I believe that's turn 8. He's coming into the final two corners for Dahlgren. I don't think he's going to be able to do this. I've got a funny feeling he isn't. Here, we'll keep an eye on it as well. Predicted times, no, I don't think it's going to be fast enough from Magnus Dahlgren. I don't believe it is. What was his last lap time coming up there as well? He's not quick enough. What about Dan Kirby? He's not going any faster either. Dahlgren's going to get one more run. Dahlgren is going to get one more run. Qualifying has finished. Dan Kirby's not going to get it. That traffic is going to cause you no end of drama, dear sir. As much as I love you and think you are an amazing driver, I'd be very surprised if that traffic hasn't already affected that lap in general. We'll have a look and see what he does in sector 2 once more. He has got a purple on the board, so maybe it didn't quite do him as much harm as possible. Kirby with a sideways slide there. Oh no, he's on the gravel. Surely he's not going to be able to get it now for Dan Kirby. He's on the gravel. I don't think he's going to be able to cement that. Oh, he did!
He went faster.
He went faster on the gravel. He went off on the gravel and still went faster. What about Dahlgren? He's got a purple in sector 1. This is going to be coming down to it now, Steve. This is...
Nah, he hasn't got it. He's well off in sector 2.
Oh, he's pulled it in.
As well, but for the first part of that lap, he was looking on time, predicted to do a 1:27.7 as well. But what a lap from Kirby there, and I don't know if that's going to be taken away from him because he did go very wide there out of Rind corner and onto the gravel, like you say. But how much bravery was there to throw that car in to turn 8 there, and he got it a little bit sideways, didn't he? It was so on edge for the pole sitter at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you there. But Kirby, the thing is, I don't think they can take that lap away from him. The reason I say that is he was already on pole before he set that lap. So even if they nullify the lap, which is fine,
true,
it's not going to change anything because Kirby was already on pole with his previous lap that he didn't have quite an error with. So either way, I think Kirby's going to get that. I don't think he's going to have it here as well. The guys have just gone into warm-up. We have got our Mr. CMS, Mr. Storm Gang Simulation, Mr. Ross Smith in the booth with us as well. Good afternoon, Mr. Smith. How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing today?
Wonderful. Just watched a great qualifying session. How about you?
That was pretty amazing. I I was having a drink and sitting back and watching that too. That was some good stuff. But yeah, it's turning out to be a great race. Got a good grid going on. Some new guys. It should be a fun one.
Yeah, Dan Kirby on pole with Dahlgren in second, then Wouter de Bruin, then Timon Suvic are your top 4. Oliver Day in the 5th with Brian Hall 6th, Ethan Funk in 7th, and Jacob Smythe in 8th there as well in that Toyota GT1. In the 9th position is John Uyan with Becky Ely alongside him, George Angelides and Barry Dimarzo, your top 12 here as well. Let's have a look after this one. It is Jason Whitehead, Alexander Schultz there in 14th with Stephen Miller 15th and Philippe Enrique not going to be happy down in 16th there as well. Pros mixing it up with the AMs here. This is going to make it interesting. Randy Marek 17th, Alec Garrick 18th, Mike Olsen 19th and Wayne Hutchinson down in 20th. He needed to be closer to Becky Ely than that did Hutchinson. Gilles Villeneuve 21st and Gilles Lalonde down in 22nd. And then we've got, of course, the LMGT2s with Ross Smith, Will Pitt on pole, closely followed by Adrian Rice. JT Tammy in 3rd place with Matthew Overton there in 4th. Then Peter Meyer and Maximilian Petrevsky in that 28th position. And then poor Karen Torrance out the back in the Porsche 911. Of course, Kevin was the runner of the Mustang GT3 last time out in the Modern, which did look an amazing piece of kit there as well. It's not actually taken to the road yet, but it was here in this mod. So there you go, guys. You can have a look through the lap times. Why I start having a chat with my Mr. Wonderful Smith. Hey, Ross, how are you, my little chicken licking? What's going on with you today?
I'm doing well, James. I hope you're doing good too, man. Sounds like you got some good sleep.
I did actually, yes. I woke up to a flurry of messages by my very good producer, Mr. Paul Glover, asking me to wake up. I was already waking up. I don't even know what the problem was. You know what I mean? He does a 9 to 5 and sits on the sofa with a blanket and slippers in the evening. Some of us do proper work. You know what I mean? It's not his fault, is it, Ross? You know what I mean?
I hear you. Yeah.
So. Right.
Got to get it done.
You've got to get it done, mate. Where are we at with the mod then, Russ? Tell us what's going on in this wonderful world that we live in of sim racing.
Well, on the modding front, we're going full guns blazing on the historic mod, which, as we mentioned before, we're going to target trying to do the premiere video on the final race broadcast exclusively with JPB. So we're looking forward to that. Got a lot of the screenplay all worked out for it. We just got to get the cars kind of tuned up and put forward there. They are released to testers at this point, so the entire testing team has their hands on them, and they're going to be going through the very in-depth testing process that they go through, thousands of hours between all of the different testers. And many of them on track already, as you can see. So they're working overtime, getting ready for these races and then going out and getting those cars in shape for the next year. But that's going to happen, and then I can tell you personally, I'll be going through and getting the modern cars going after this weekend, so that way those can be handed off. So they'll hopefully line up once the testers are done with historics. Then they can switch over to the 6 modern cars that we're going to be bringing into the 2024 pack for next year.
Well, if you just want to sneak me a historic car, Ross, I'll happily test it for you. I work from home. I've got time. Apparently, I don't do real work, according to Paul, so it's fine. I've got time here. So if you want to send me a car, Ross, I'll even test it for you. I just drop it on and give it a little, release me a little bit of information.
Well, I sent you that preview picture.
No, you sent me a distorted PowerPoint image that just looked squiggly and squirrely, and I didn't understand a single thing of what you put in it.
Well, I can tell you, even worse pictures have been put out online, and some people have managed to figure out what car it is. So I don't know what to tell you, man. It just
right. I'll send it off to my graphics guy and get him to decipher what's going on there as well. Ross, for you though, let's go into the race. Let's give you, let's have a chat with you about your race at the moment, right? You are going into this with a 22-point gap. You can wrap this up here. If you take the win and JT Tammy finishes in 3rd, you're going to be champion before you even get to Miami. For you, surely that's got to be the goal, isn't it?
Well, absolutely, yeah. You want to just press your advantage as hard as you can. I mean, Adrian and JT are no slouches. Neither is Matthew. I know he's coming off of some busy work, so he hasn't been able to get as much track time with this circuit as much as he'd like. But strategy today is just try and stay out in front of everybody, hopefully feed Adrian to the wolves, and have them fight through the scraps while I run off into the distance. That's the plan, but as Mike Tyson said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. So we'll see how it goes.
I'm sorry, is JT tying me up to something that we're not going to wear off? Has he got a stick with a glove on the end who's going to punch you out the window here, Ross, is he?
Well, he's certainly quick, and he's very good on his equipment, so he manages to make it last and get up through the field. And I know it's JT Arrive and Drive Tammy as his nickname, but the guy is very skilled on both car control and strategy. So coming up through the field, I mean, he's going to give Adrian a go. Adrian's very quick in the Marcos, over a stint especially. We ran with him on Tuesday, and though he had some technical issues that he ran into, he could show that he made that car move, and that's what I'm going to be keeping an eye on today, is try and conserve the car while also fighting off my competitors, which I guess is racing, but here more than anywhere, it's so short and fast. You gotta be intense.
What are we looking at lap-wise here with this 250 kilometers? What are we expecting? What was the completion on Thursday of the amount of laps around the circuit? Because it's always difficult for people at home to understand, 250 kilometers equates to so many laps. Some people are very basic. They just prefer, we're going to run for 60 laps or 50 laps. What are we expecting you guys to start clocking off the list here at Red Bull?
Well, it's a little bit difficult to say because Tuesday we had rain, so that kind of mucked things up in terms of timing. But we ran, I think it was about 15 or 16 laps shorter than today's race, which is going to be 58 plus the formation lap. But I imagine it's probably going to end in a similar time gap, somewhere around like maybe an hour 20 in that range. And obviously the GT1s doing all of the laps, or at least some of them, and then the GT2s will probably be behind by, I want to say 5, maybe 6 laps, maybe even more than that, considering how short it is. It's really hard for me to say for sure, just because, again, like I said, it was raining, so that really changes the game.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. What are we expecting pit stop wise in conjunction here as well? Is fuel a massive? Is it a saving tool that you're going to need to do here, Ross, do you think? Or what's the situation for you? Just go full guns blazing?
I think most people are just going to be out there going for broke. I don't know that there's really too much advantage to being able to conserve. I mean, maybe slight conserving where you can, just to eke out maybe another lap on a fuel stint to just give yourself that little bit of extra advantage. But overall, I think you're just going as hard as you can. and pull it back. Maybe I would say probably more than anything, it's conserving the tires, because they really do get worked here. Both classes, categories of cars, they're just going to be squealing. I know even with the wets running it nice and easy, I was begging for new tires at the end of each stop. So it's probably going to be more of the same here. I don't know that anybody's going to be able to run a full stint and double stint them, but we'll see. I mean, it's a different game, so.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's going to be one of the things that people are going to have to look out for. Just how difficult is it going to be for you over this short track with traffic, though, Ross? Because obviously you're in that slower class as such. How are you going to be dealing with the GT1s coming through?
Well, it is a point of concern, especially since there's so many more GT2s today for them to contend with. So that it's more opportunity for the faster drivers to get kind of irate with the slower traffic, especially since it is a shorter circuit. So they're going to be seeing a lot more of them, even though there are a lot more cars. So it's just compounded. But overall, I'd say that it's not too bad driving. The cars are behaving, or the drivers are behaving, I should say. So it's not too bad. There are plenty of opportunities on the straights to get by the cars, it seems. So, you know, it should be better than at some of the tracks like Dijon, a few spots when we had it at Silverstone or Suzuka, especially, where like you would just get locked in behind a slower car. There might be one around you for an entire lap, but it still manages to muck you up.
Yeah, so it's always going to be challenging, isn't it, with traffic in general. We know how, it works out here as well. I think it's going to be an interesting one, though. Do we think we're going to see major dramas? Do we think we're going to see some tripping up over each other here as well?
I think you will see some of that. I mean, that's just kind of par for the course. But I would suspect that it's just going to be a lot of really good racing today, more than a cluster. So, like, this is going to be more of a Sunday drive versus the Road Atlanta we saw last weekend.
Well, let's hope so here as well. Ross, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure as always. I'll pop you back in that room. Good luck, mate. Have a good one, and hopefully we'll speak to you possibly as a champion here today.
That would be fantastic. I hope I can be talking to you guys at the end, but nothing else. We really appreciate everything that JPP is doing. You guys do a great job. We're very pleased to have you as a partner, and look forward to watching this one back at the end regardless.
Absolutely. Well, Ross, take care, buddy. Have a good race. And let's see you on that podium. So there you go, Steve. That was Ross, who for some reason I cannot remove from this room at the moment. There we go, he's gone. Steve, it's going to be interesting for Ross, isn't it? He's got the championship in his forks. He's got the opportunity to come out of here as the champion. He's just got to try and keep it on track now.
Yeah, Eli as well, also with that opportunity to take home the trophy today. But you've got to remember, it's not all won or lost here, really. If he doesn't get it done today, he's still got 2 more races, and the pressure is going to be rising and rising on Arrive and Drive JT Tammy. I think that's a compliment, to be fair. If you can arrive and drive, that says a lot about the skill you've got behind the wheel of a car, because I can't do that. I don't know about you. I need to have 3 days worth of practice on a track that I've driven thousands of times still, and I still can't match the top guys in any league that I've raced in. So I definitely hope he takes that as a huge compliment. But yeah, it's just about his focus, keeping that focus, and like you say, he's conserving things and trying. Don't try too hard, I think, is the main thing there. You don't want to let the pressure kind of get on top of you and cause mistakes. You just want to be cruising around at 99%, and what happens, happens.
Yeah. That's the thing, isn't it? He's just got to sit back and do what he has done that's put him into that championship fight, I think. I think that's one of the things for Ross Smith. He's just got to go about his business. And if he goes about his business, keeps the car on track, stays out of trouble, he's going to come out of here a champion. For Becky Healy, she's got to kind of do the same thing though, Steve, as well, hasn't she? Keep it out of trouble, try and wrap it out. Wayne Atkinson's a little bit further down on the grid than what he probably would have hoped for. So that, again, is something that she's got to keep into the back of her head.
Yeah, we've seen him kind of plough his way through the order anyway in the past though, so she'll certainly be sitting in her car thinking it's not done yet. But yeah, it's going to be mentally draining for those two, thinking about all of the permutations throughout the race. But it's one of those, like in football, where you say you don't necessarily have to win it, but you cannot lose. Ross and Becky cannot die on the first lap and get punted into a wall and have their race done and dusted early doors. They've got to stay in it. That's all they need to do, and hope that they can get on the podium. Because even if they lose out to their rivals, Wayne Hutchinson wins this one. If Becky comes second, the pressure's still heavily on Wayne for that one. And it's the same scenario for Ross and JT Tam.
Yeah, absolutely. Nate, now, is that Natalie, would we say in YouTube chat? Hey, how are you? Thank you very much for joining us. Mr. Reese says Austrian marshals often like to drink a beer while the racing's going on. Well, there you go. I wasn't aware of that, Steve, was you?
I was not, but yeah. Drinking and driving? Is that necessarily?
I don't think they're driving. I think they're just there supporting, aren't they? Waving the flags and picking up the drivers. You know, they've got to go and get Adrian Rice out of the charcoal barbecue that he was setting a little bit earlier with his car up on flames. You know what I mean? I'm surprised somebody didn't come along with some marshmallows as he was entering the pits there. Make some s'mores out the back of his car. But, you know, that's a new one for me. I've not seen that all season, to be honest. I don't think any of us have here up in the JPB booth, have we?
Not, no, but yeah, it's still want to know how they managed to get that car out for Adrian Rice as well, because we didn't see the live pictures of that, but I'm wondering if people were sitting there with marshmallows on sticks and getting their fill before the
maybe, I don't know, I would have done, to be honest. Right guys, we are in warm-up as well. This is where you got me and Steve just having a little bit of a chipmunk about the marshmallows and Adrian Rice's car going up in fire flames here as well. Don't forget guys, we do have our wonderful producer Paul in the background doing all our hard work for him, so if you want to show Paul some love, you know, he would love an appreciation, a nice little heart in chat. If anybody wants to drop hearts down in the YouTube chat for Paul, that would be absolutely amazing. You know, I don't want him to feel left out being in the background, so if you can do that for me guys, get some hearts in chat, lots of them as well. Paul will absolutely love it forever. You know, we've got to give him some love, the man on the producing, who is just there talking to me and Steve in our ear. Steve, yeah. Right. Let's have a look and get this up and running. They are getting onto the grid now as well before we go in to this opening pace lap there. Daniel, Kirby, Dahlgren, De Bruyne, Suvic and Day are your top five. So let's see how this one pans out. What do we think here, Steve? Kirby for the win?
I can't call it at this early stage, but yeah, he's going to be a favourite as a Virus GR42 sticks a ton of multicoloured hearts there into the chat for Mr. Glover. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how these guys negotiate this orange zone as well, because the run down to the end of the orange zone, turn 3 there at the bottom of the hill, it's the prime overtaking spot. So there's a good chance that a few of them are going to go for moves in that early stages as we head off now for the formation lap. Looks like there's a penalty there for the traffic as well, so not sure what that's for, but we'll see when you news of that momentarily.
Right guys, we will be back very shortly here as well, as we'll get this racing up and running. Welcome back guys as well here as we're still on this pace lap, Steve. Looking like Enrique hasn't quite started here.
Yeah, still on the grid by the looks of our timing screen, so he's got lots of work to do. He already was in a bad position further down the back of the grid, and now he's, hopefully he actually starts for the race, otherwise it could be a problem for a few drivers around him. But yeah, look forward to the start. It's going to start hot and heavy, I think, really. It's going to get interesting very quickly.
Yeah, it definitely is. You can see the grid coming through on your bottom there, or in the middle of your screen. That will be our starting order as these guys are coming round now, ready to go into turn 6. The left-hander, before they go out that run, out from 7 into 8, and then we're going to be up and running. Dan Kirby, is he going to take the win here as well? Well, let's see what he can do. Can Becky Ely wrap up the championship? Can as well Ross Smith wrap up the championship today? That's the 2 championships that are up for grabs. Kirby's going to go down a little bit longer than that one. The gap's not quite big enough for him yet here, Steve.
Nope, still got to maybe wait till the next 2 races to get his hands on a trophy. But interesting strategies here on the tyres. Oliver Day, Brian Hall, Jacob Smith, Stephen Miller, Randy Marek, Wayne Hutchinson, Gilles Alon and Philip Mariga are all on softs. Everybody else has gone to the hard, so keep your eye on those guys. They might shoot through the order early doors, but that could cost them late.
Yeah, let's see. Here we go now as well. The race is going to be up and running. You can see here Kirby's coming down to the line. That single file launch. And we are up and running here. You can see the GTs. 2s on the bottom right hand corner of your screen. It's going to be Ross Smith making a bolt, but Kirby has done what Kirby needed to do. He's bolted already. He's tried to open up as much as the gap as possible. He's got about 3 attempts currently at the moment as he goes up now into turn 2. The uphill braking right-hander. Ross Smith leads away. The LMGT2's on the bottom there as well. He's out in front trying to break away from Adrian Rice. But at the moment, Kirby's doing an absolute stellar job, doing what he needed to do, and everybody looks like they've got away fairly cleanly as Smith comes up into turn 2 now though, Steve. Everybody's away, everybody's up and running.
Yeah, what a start there from Kirby. Caught Dahlgren napping, and Dahlgren's now holding that gap a little steadier, but he's still gaining 10th here, a 10th there, and doing exactly like you said, what he needed to do. He's already getting inside Dahlgren's head and saying, yeah, I can win this, no problem.
Yeah, Freddie Hell's out already. He's DNF'd on that one there, unfortunately. So, unfortunately for Freddie, it's no run for Freddie there as well. So, let's see what goes on in this race. Lap 2 of 59. We're going to be seeing if Smith can wrap it up. Where is Becky Ely in conjunction with all of her people around her? Barry Dimarzo, Jason White, Schultz, Miller, Garrick, Marek Olsen are between her and Hutchinson at the moment. So Hutchinson is a long way back here. He's not going to be able to get hold of Becky Ely this time around. I think Ely's going to be too strong in that championship. I've got to be honest. She's got literally a 13.5 point gap. Let's see if she can extend it going forward into Miami in a couple of weeks' time there as well. Let's see what that happens. But I think for Becky Ely, for Dan Kirby, for Ross Smith, it's all about keeping it just on track. That's the thing, Steve, isn't it? Keep it on track, keep your gaps going as Kirby is going, and let's see how they get on.
Yeah, we're on board now, Will, with Timon Subic and Wood De Bruyne as they're preparing to draw swords and battle it out here at Spielberg. And it's... Oh, Wood's just gone past in sector 1, I should apologise. So, yeah, but look at the gap as well between Dahlgren and Kirby, 1.7 seconds. Kirby is doing everything he needs to. He's already pulling that gap, but it's jumping up and down, so it looks as though maybe Dahlgren's quicker in one sector and Kirby is quicker in another, so it's not over yet.
Yeah, it definitely isn't, but I've got a funny feeling if they don't get hold of Kirby by the first round of the pit stops come through, it's going to be very, very terminally over for them as well. What place will Becky need to win the championship? Well, she will need to be at the top, Phil. She will, if she takes the win, she gets 10 points. And for Wayne Hutchinson at the moment, he is down in, I think, a 60 class. So he's only likely to going to get 1. That will put Becky Ely then with 70.5 points, 48 it will go down to Miami, but only just. So it depends on where Wayne Hutchinson finishes. If he doesn't score any points and is out of the top 6 in class, then Ely will take the championship. I've got a funny feeling, if my maths are correct there, once more. But Kirby leading the way with Dahlgren, De Boer, Suvic and Hall as we look at Timon Suvic in that lovely Toyota GT1 chasing down the rookie monsters Mercedes of Wouter de Bruin as well. Tough here for these guys, Steve. I think that's going to be the thing. Do they start fighting, or do they try and catch up with the guys in front? Do they try and get hold of Dahlgren? Do they try and reel in Dan Kirby? It's going to be a tough one.
Yep, and Timon Suvic, he's got the straight line speed advantage there in that Toyota GT1 as well, so getting past shouldn't be too difficult for him. But is this going into the pits? He's already going early, very early there into the pits by the looks of things, as he used within the white lines, which obviously you have to do. You cannot jump over those white lines. Big penalties, of course, if you drift outside of them. But that's an early pit stop for De Bruyne. Wondering what the thinking is behind that. Maybe get a new set of tyres and straight back out and get the undercut, maybe.
Yeah, there's a few people into the pits here as well, which seems a little bit strange, a little bit early. Or am I missing the point? Have they had contact somewhere that we're not aware of? Why would they go into the pits on lap 5? They started on the softs, but blimey, you got to get more than 5 laps out of them, surely.
I'm wondering whether or not they're not in the practice and they've been caught by surprise as to how quick those softs wore out. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out once everybody's pitted and whether or not that works out. Ross Smith getting a very sideways there in his Chevrolet in turn 1 as well. But he's doing what he needs to do as well, leading the pack in his class.
Yeah, I'm not. No, Rice is in front of him. Rice has got in front of him up the road there as well. We'll bring you up the class sectors on the left-hand side of the timing tower to make it a little bit easier for you guys to understand where everyone is in their class. Obviously, it's important for the fact of Kirby and Dahlgren with Suvic, and it's obviously imperative for the likes of Becky Ely there as well. De Bruin has to serve a penalty. So there you go. You can see on the left-hand side, that's the class splits at the moment as well. All right, so in the LMGT1 AMS, it's Day, Smythe, Angeli, just Edie. And then you've got Miller and Olsen. In the LMGT2, it's Rice, Smith, Tammy, and over to the Meyer. Well, Meyer always seems to take it here as well. He seems to be completely unstoppable in that class there as well. For Ross Smith, though, he doesn't need... I think, Steve, for the likes of Smith, he doesn't need to go and beat Adrian Rice. He just needs to beat JT Tammy. Rice isn't even here, I think. I've not actually seen him all season, to be honest. He's not on the championship table. I'm guessing it's his first race. He's just got to go out and beat JT Tammy as Smith. So there's no real need to fight Rice, is there?
No, probably not, really. He's just got to keep his cool, keep his head, and keep JT Tammy behind, like you say. So I was half right. He is doing what he needs to do, but I apologise for that mistake. I have had too many cold drugs this evening, and I'm not quite with it. But I'll do my best to improve. But yeah, Ross Smith, 2.2 seconds behind. I'm wondering whether or not you can maybe use Rice as a little bit of a tow and to kind of keep him out of trouble. And obviously the traffic yet to appear, and the faster cars, the GT1s, yet to catch up to these guys, and that could really put a spanner in people's works as well. So Ross just needs to keep his head down and make sure he carries on doing what he's doing.
Yeah, definitely. Stephen Miller, Mike Olsen there as well. Drive-through penalties need to be served from the previous race, so that's why we had a rush of pit stops at the beginning there as well. So people having to serve penalties for the previous race. So let's have a look and see on that one as well. There was a drive-through for Barry Dimarzo there as well, so he had to go and do it. Stop and hold for Brian Hall. So drive-through for Wouter de Bruin. So yeah, a few of them did have to deal with the penalty situation there, Steve, as well. So it's tough for them guys already, because there was a drive-through for Philippe Enrique, which was, you know, another one that had to go in. So a tough start for some of these guys, but it's not like we haven't got time here, Steve. You know, we've got a long race to go, and I think that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it gives the guys who've had those penalties the opportunity to get their head down and what's known as hammer time in F1, and just stick those laps in fastest laps they can do, and they should still come out there or thereabouts as to where you would expect them to, even without the penalty, given the length of the race. But that does mean that they've got to overtake some cars that maybe they didn't have to overtake if they didn't have the penalty, and that could definitely slow you up a little bit. So they'll be trying to make short work of those.
Yeah, well, it's just about now, to be honest with you. I think they've just got to get their heads in. They've got to get their heads in, get them out of the way. You know, the likes of Ely, who I'm sure will go full bore. She's not going to sit back and be like, oh, I got a penalty, no, and then go down the order. She'll go out his full bore here. She'll try her absolute hardest to move through the field, and I think that's the thing. Sitting fourth in class at the moment, Angelides up the road here. But I don't expect Ely to probably stay there. I would not be surprised in that McLaren F1 that she doesn't put it up into the podium. She's been so strong. I think that's the thing with her. She's been so strong all season. And I think it's one of the things we are going to have to keep an eye on, as you see, as the race goes up later on here as well. Nice little battle with Barry Dimarzo happening down in 17th and 18th around in Marek. Let's pick up and see these guys as they're coming off now as well. Oliver Day is P4 overall here as well. He's in that Ferrari 333. That is Ethan Funk, I believe. Behind him, is it in there as well? In the Nissan R390, it is Ethan Funk behind him. So battle's maturing here, Steve. I think this isn't going to be a full-on go. He's overtaking. I think it's going to be like a glass of wine. You know, you pop the cork, you let it mature, you sniff it.
Oh,
and then
spin. Big spin.
Dimarzo's gone, no, that was Oliver Day's gone round. Managed to hold on to it, but he has lost down positions now. He's all the way down into 9th for Oliver Day. That was just coming out of turn 8 there, Steve. Too much power on that pedal, I think.
Yeah, straight into the pits. Oh, sorry, no. He's got going again. And yeah, as we follow a replay there and see what happened to him. But maybe the curb was his enemy in those two final corners there as we're on board now. See what happened to him. It's coming in. Is it, I wonder if he's just taking too much speed at this burst one. Yeah, gets sideways and he just loses the back end. Yeah, carries too much speed. So close. And look, there's another car off in front of them as well that we missed.
It's a Toyota.
It's another Toyota as well. What is going on? Those couple of corners taking no prisoner.
Was that Smythe who went round there as well? That was a bit bizarre. Them guys sat there together, basically. You see there Oliver Day in the pits here as well. So let's have a look and see what happened here. I've got a funny feeling, is it Smythe? It's Timon Suvic. Yeah, got it all wrong there as well, Steve. People struggling here early doors.
Yeah, curbs here can be a little dangerous, especially on those final two corners. If you go out wide there, it really unsettles the car. Definitely catchable, but also very easily to lose it there. Look at this, he just gets on the curb, gets a bit out of shape. And,
yeah, it goes wrong.
Goes a bit wrong, but yeah, that promotes Angelides up to P6 overall there. So he's leading his class at the moment and doing a fantastic job staying out of trouble. And I get the feel there's going to be more. So, there's a big crash. You're not supposed to go on the wheels, mate.
Petrovsky there as well. Do we get to see what happened to the rest of Maximilian Petrovsky? He's nicely balanced up in the air there. That's we'll see what our wonderful producer Paul can do in the background. You know what I mean? Maximilian Petrovsky is still upside down.
That's going to be race done for him.
Yeah, that's exposing your under panels there, Steve, isn't it? Giving away your secrets.
Yeah, I mean, Mercedes and Ferrari will be snapping pictures like that Red Bull when it was being lifted on the crane. We'll be snapping all the pictures, see what's going on under there. But yeah, that's race done for Petrovsky then. If you can't get the car back on its wheels, like, there's no reset button in this game. I've never seen anything like it, to be honest. It's a tough one.
No.
He's going to be fuming in that cockpit because.
How do you get stuck on your rear wing? I don't understand that. The Porsche ain't got that gut balance. You know what I mean? It normally throws you around as soon as look at you. So Petrovsky, they're doing, well, a once-in-a-lifetime manoeuvre with that Porsche up in the air. So quite well done, Maximilian. Fair play.
The engine is in the back, isn't it? So it's all about weight distribution for that balancing act there. But it's a race, not ballet, and you don't get points for the pirouette either. So unfortunately for Petrovsky, though, that's going to be job done for him, and no way to get back going again. As you can still see there in the bottom right-hand corner of your picture, he's still there trying to trying to move the fence, but yeah, it's not going to happen.
No. It's definitely not there as well. Becky Ely moves up to second in that LMGT1 AMS there. Steve did say she's going along her business. Did say she'll snipe her in when she needs to. Kirby's still out in front with Dahlgren in second, but Angelidis, Ely, I think we need to keep an eye on Ely. She's just taken out 4 tenths over George Angelidis, I'm not going to lie. So if we can keep an eye on her as well. Here's a replay here once more. This is Barry Dimarzo. Oh, I've seen this from Barry before, where he makes one mistake and then he just makes more continual mistakes. And as you see, he's just lost the position here. I can't think where he was in the calendar, but God blimey, for poor old Barry Dimarzo, I could have had a Benny Hill theme tune YouTube clip. It was, you know, he didn't get the car nestled. I can't think where he was actually. And he literally was just spinning. It was like he was on ice skates. It was horrendous for Barry on that run, and hopefully this one won't go the same way, Steve.
I seem to remember Le Mans was a bit like that for Dimarzo when we did the 2.5 hour one together. But yeah, it's so much easier to lose the car if you've already lost it. The tyres overheat, the surface gets a bit too pliable, and obviously your frustration and the red mist kind of descends, and you start to get a bit antsy with the inputs, and it's so much easier to lose it again. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, it does, and you know, well, for me it doesn't happen anymore. I've got to stick with it. So poor old Oliver Day, who had that spin earlier on in that Ferrari there as well, 333, is all the way down in 23rd position, Steve. He's not going to be happy with that one at all, is Oliver Day. You know, and it's going to be tough for him, I think, to try and make that up there, Steve, as well, isn't it? You know, I know it's a short circuit. These laps are going to go thick and fast. We're already on lap 12. You know, they're banging out at the moment. Kirby's last lap was a 1:26.449. He's, you know, I'm predicting he's going to be, I think at the moment, he's going to be around the 1:25 mark for the next one. So it's going to be tough for anybody to catch Kirby. I've got a funny feeling. Ely struggled a little bit over the last lap as well, lost a little bit of time to Angelidis with Rice. Smith's really ahead of JT Tammy, which is who he needs to be ahead of. So all in all, people who are in championship fights are doing their job.
Yeah, certainly are, and Ely, like you say, just pounding out the laps, just keeping it clean, making sure that she doesn't get caught up in any shenanigans, and she's found herself already in P2 there, and Hutchinson down in P6, starting to kind of close in, but so much longer to go. I don't think he's going to be thinking about him too much just yet. She'll start worrying about him once she sees his face in her rearview mirror. And but Smith as well, big gap between him and JT Tammy, and he needs to just keep his focus as well. And the championships is theirs for the taking. It's in their hands, but you can't count your chickens before they've hatched for sure. It's a long way still to go.
Yeah, you never know which ones are going to be yolks. So there we go with that chicken situation. You know, you've got to be careful. Edie making the gap back up into Angelidis, which is great. We've got George Angelidis on our screen now. He's in that Momo Scudiera Cavalli 333 SP there as well. Does look like a beautiful machine. I wonder how it drives. I wonder if I can get my hands on it and say, go and have a test in it. And see. I think it's in me pack, so I might have to go and hook up nick my son's wheel or something and then strap it to my desk and go and have a look and see how that Ferrari drives as well, to be honest, because I think that'd be great. I'd also love to get in the Peugeot 9X8, I'm not going to lie. That car looks absolutely beautiful. But Angelidis seems like he's got this car hooked up here. He hasn't had, and I don't think he'll mind me saying this too much, to be fair, for George Angelidis. He's had a very up and down season. You know, he's got the pace of Becky here, but he hasn't had that pace all year at tracks where Ely was blisteringly quick and taking the wins at Oshenden, Schleburn and also Silverstone. Angelidis was down in 3rd and 4th and so on and so forth. So he hasn't had the pace all season, but he seems like he's got this A1 ring as such, this RedBull ring kind of hooked up here, and he's doing a pretty stellar job. If this form for George could have come out, you know, through the season, he might have been right up there as well.
You still might have something to think about with Becky Ely. She has got some pace in that car at least, and if that 2-second gap starts to get chipped away at, then Angelidis might start to make more mistakes as the pressure starts to mount as she gets closer and closer, but she's just lost 5/10 there in one corner and then regained it again almost immediately as the traffic is starting to play a factor now as we go to a replay. Let's see who we've got here. This is Villeneuve coming down into turn 3 here. Very tough break, so big lock up and straight off into the gravel. And that is the nature of getting that corner wrong. Downhill braking, you've got to brake earlier than you think you need to, just to make sure you get the car rotated. That's going again in short order though. Not too bad.
Downhill braking's never easy. Give yourself another 5 to 10 meters on there as well. I think Gilles Villeneuve's had a bit of a rough one, I think, over the last lap or so we won't signify it too much. How much he got himself up to. I think this is going to be another one.
He's just driven through him. What's going on there? Oh, and then he spins.
And then he spins. So Enrique and Villeneuve having contact. Then they go off. Enrique gets through, and then that happens where he spins anyway. So, you know, we can put that down to lesson learned. Please don't try to do anything silly like that. But at the same time, not an ideal drive there as well. And who is that? That's in the Panos there, isn't it? That's Wouter de Bruin, I think. He's in the Mercedes CLK, also going tackling the barriers on that run down as well. Not an ideal scenario for Wouter de Bruin coming out of turn 7. Gets all a little bit squirrely and loose and then just runs that barrier line. Yeah, I think people are kind of making silly little mistakes here, especially when we've got 45 to go.
Yeah, very avoidable that one there from Wouter as well. All you have to do is kind of ease off a little bit, but that show you how dangerous the curbs could be here. If you hit them wrong, there's another one. Barry Dimarzo getting a bit sideways, but saves it in brilliant style, you've got to say there, on the exit of turn 3 there, as he tries to navigate his way past Stephen Miller. This is what we were talking about, the traffic causing problems. Like, it's so difficult to get this through, but this is his full position on Miller. It's Dimarzo trying to get it done, but he's so much quicker, and look at it, he's already closing in very rapidly on the back of him. He's going to go defensive here. Miller into the final 2 corners, doesn't look like it. He's trying to spy on the inside, not going for it just yet. Would have been a bit of a lunge if he did, to be fair, and it's probably best off waiting until turn 2 and 3, the best places to overtake on this track. Get that toe all the way down, the pit straight all the way down between turns 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4 as well. You get even more. So that's one of the things about Austria. You've got to be very strategic with your overtaking, where you make it. Otherwise, the guy you've overtaken is just going to come straight back at you. It looks like he's got a very good run out of turn 1 here. Is he going to be able to get him into turn 2? We'll see. He's going very defensive here. Is Miller? Let's find out what's going to happen. He's going to
go to the right. He's got to go. Yeah, send him to the outside. I would send him to the outside. Make sure he can get that line. Now Dimarzo's going to try that exit out of turn 2 on this run down into 3 now. Don't forget downhill braking as well, so they've got to be a little bit careful now. For Dimarzo, he's just got to sit there, be patient and wait. He's not going to get him here. He's going to make a mistake though, Miller. He's going to make a mistake. He's gone in a little bit hard. Now he's on the run round into turn 4. Dimarzo's looking at pushing him. He wants that cutback. Watch this. He's going to go late on the brakes, pull it back in. He's going to try and get the exit out as well. Here we go for Dimarzo. Miller rocks him up. Coming through 6 there, Miller planted it on the apex there. Stephen said, nowhere for you to go, dear sir.
Yeah, that was fantastic defensive racing for him. He's still going to get alongside again once more down into turns 8 and 9, and there's traffic ahead. That's going to really put a spanner in the works here, but Miller hangs on to it still. I think Dimarzo backed out of it, thinking about that traffic ahead as they go a bit sideways in the final corner, and that's going to really cause a stain or 2 in the pants of these 2 drivers. They're both going to try and go around the outside before turn 1, but battle continues here between these 2. It's very spicy, this one.
Yeah, I'm wondering as well, from Dimarzo's point of view, coming out of you did wrong there. You did wrong. You lost all of your momentum for Barry Dimarzo in one corner. And he did that just by pulling out. He was never going to make the move. So I didn't quite understand why he just didn't go and sit back on the racing line and get the run like he did out of the last lap. That was just, I don't know. That was very bizarre for me, because if you're not going to make the move, but you're going to jeopardize your entry and exit, why are you there in the first place? For me, if you're going to make a move, go for it. Don't half it, you know what I mean? Don't go out and go, ooh. You know, the terminology is he who hesitates loses. Well, Dimarzo's gone for pushing that position now to being further back and has lost the time on him. I didn't get that move from Barry Dimarzo.
Yeah, definitely not doing himself any favours there, but he'll regroup, regather himself, and I'm pretty sure he'll be able to close that gap once more. He's already back within 7/10, so he just needs to bide his time. He's got to be clever with where he makes the move. We've noticed how much of an effect this traffic can have as it looks holding up Miller here in the final two corners, and that allows Dimarzo to get right back onto the back of him again. And this traffic is starting to play a major role in this battle. Yeah, Dimarzo, kind of premature. He's trying too hard. He needs to bide his time. He's going to go for the move there on the back marker as well. He needs to make sure that he gets through there, but he's lost even more time trying that move again. And yeah, that's trying too hard, isn't he? He's trying too hard to make sure that he doesn't lose touch with Miller, and it's JT Tabby that was causing a bit of a roadblock for him there, causing him to get offline and a little bit squirrely. And he's going to do it again. He's going to do it all once more, but he's already back within the toe.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. He's got to try and make sure he doesn't pressurise to the point of where he's almost on the bordering line of eruption. I think that's the thing. Sometimes frustration can kick in. You know what I mean? So, Carboy's there, welcome into YouTube chat. Ben Borb as well, circuits with big directional changes won't play to how he sets up a car. Are we talking about Mr. Angelides there? Elstura will suit George's particular driving style. Yeah, I believe so. So Maximilian Petrovsky has finally DNF'd. There's no more car on his rear wing up in the air with his front wheels pointing north. Dimarzo's going for it on the exit of 7. If you're going... Whoa! We're going to a replay. That's as he goes off the side of the circuit there. Randy Marek, who unfortunately has taken a trip off the side of the circuit. As we come back and pick up on the Dimarzo battle, if we can. Dimarzo's in. There he is there. At that point, I thought he was almost going to make that move. Dimarzo's got to be looking at closing out. He's got to make sure he can get past here. The problem is as well, though, Steve, you know, he's going to rush to try and take the back markers at the same time that Miller is, because he needs to, as you say, stay with Miller. He cannot afford to not stay with him. But at the same time, he's got to be careful not to jeopardise his race overtaking the back markers.
He's got to think ahead. That's the main thing here. And if he gets it right, there's a possibility he might just be able to get alongside Miller and block him in with one of these back markers as well. But back markers doing very well to get out of the way there in turn 4. But we're seeing a lot of people going wide in turn 4. It's a tough corner, and very, very easy to get your braking wrong on that downhill braking sector. And that gravel definitely slows you massively down. And on that gravel, it starts to get a bit squirmy. Very easy to lose it entirely and end up in a barrier as well, which nobody wants.
No, we definitely don't. You definitely don't want that either. You know what I mean? You don't want to be in a wall. That's the worst thing you can do here as well, is be in that wall. But there is still Barry Dimarzo. It is going into the pits here on lap 20. That probably isn't too far off where I was expecting the pit stops, I think, here as well. Based on the fact that obviously if they're you know, softs or mediums or whatever the situation will be, I wouldn't be surprised if between now and lap 30, Steve, I think that's probably where we're going to see a rush of it.
Yeah, most likely. A few of the soft runners still out there on 19 lap, 20 lap old softs as well, so start to see them starting to peel off into the pits. But that might be a very smart move there by Dimarzo. He comes into the pits before Miller and hopefully gets out and can now bang in a couple of quick laps, meaning that he gets the undercut there, and that makes his job a lot easier. Doesn't have to pass him on track, doesn't have to fight you know, small gaps with traffic, and he'll just get the position in the pit stops. We'll see how that pans out once Miller pit, but I think that could be very smart from the Italian driver.
I think so as well. I think the thing is he wasn't making, as Kirby's in the pits now as well, as if he wasn't making gains, there was no point sitting back waiting, was there? You might as well get it out the way, try something different here on lap 21 and see what happens. You know, you've got to go for it at some point. You've just got to change it. Becky Healy's into the pits as well as, and well, Petrovsky's just showing that he is in the pits here. I'm a little bit confused with Petrovsky. Is he out? Is he in? I've got him in the pits and I've still got him out on track, so I'm a little bit confused here with Maximilian Petrovsky. Magnus Dahlgren currently P1 at the moment, probably not going to be the overall P1 though, Steve, once these pit stop cycles have sort of materialised.
Yeah, probably not. But yeah, he had a sizable gap, did Kirby, before he came to the pits. But he is the first to blink, and I wonder whether Dahlgren can now take advantage of that. Maybe do something different with his strategy. But he comes around the final corner. He doesn't quite stay in the white lines either. As he comes into the pits, he's going to react straight away and come straight in. And yeah, I feel Kirby's going to probably get him with the undercut anyway. But Miller into the pits as well. Be interesting to see how that pans out with the Dimarzo battle that he was involved in the pit. Hutchinson in the pit. Smith takes the lead of the LMGT1 AM category, but it's still Rice over Smith in the LMGT2.
Is that Smith or is that Smythe?
Smythe, maybe? I don't know.
I think Smythe. I think Smythe. I do as well. We'll get a little bit of a refresh of the time in Tower very, very shortly, guys. There, as you can see, we've still got people in the pits. I believe Becky Ely is actually out on track as well, and there's a couple of others that will refresh once it all gets sorted out here as well. Give us a minute, let's get these pit lanes out of the way, because they do end up mixing up the time in Towers there as well. Ely's now in fourth. Angelidis is in front up the row, but don't believe Angelidis is pitted at the moment. I haven't seen George Angelidis go into the pits, but apparently he did go into the pits here as well. So George Angelidis has gone in. So if that's Ely's lost that amount of time over Angelidis, well, I would be very surprised. Kirby now is trying to come around and retake the front of this pack. Is he going to retake the lead over Suvik and Dahlgren? These are very long pit stops, Steve. I don't think I've seen pit stops ever go on for plus 70 odd seconds. You know, these are very long here. Suvik's going to come out in front. He's going to be on the right hand side there. Kirby's going to have a massive overspeed on him at the moment, but Timon Suvik looks like he may have just pulled a master stroke. He may have actually been. It was a shorter pit stop time here. Suvik has gone shorter and has now got out in front of Kirby. But these pit stops are like massively long.
Kirby's going to get him on the exit here to turn 2 anyway, though. Got to the inside line, turn 4 as well, and backed out of it, actually, interestingly. I thought he was going to go for that. Well, he has. He's gone for the lunge. He's come back out and went for it. And Daniel Kirby, with those warmer tyres, he's had an extra lap to get some temp into them. And he goes for the deep dive there into turn 3 and gets it done over Timon Suvik. But Timon Suvik's going to have to come in early, like you say. 43-second pit stop for him, over 72 seconds for Daniel Kirby. So very different strategies going on here from a number of drivers. Few of them have gone for that. I wonder if that's the difference between taking tyres and not taking tyres.
But I'm also wondering whether or not the fuel situation, is some going to go shorter and some are going longer? Me personally, I think I would just go fuel and tyres, get it done. If I've got to go again, I've got to go again. They've run, yeah, they're not quite on our half distance, and I don't know if anybody's going to actually get there. Ross Smith is into the pits as well, so let's see how this one materialises. But I think some may have taken tyres, some might try and double stint, which I think could be a little bit crazy, I think. But we'll see what happens. I think that's the thing, isn't it, at the end of the day? We'll see how this all plans out. We'll see how these end up going further into the race here, Steve, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, double stint does sound like a bit of madness there, because it's tough on the tyres at this track. The elevation changes, the off-camber nature of the corners, the high-speed nature of some of the corners, particularly the last 2 as well, really chews them up a bit. So I'm wondering as well, we saw a number of the soft runners as well, people that start on the soft having off tracks and spins as well. So it's going to be important to make sure that you've got your strategy spot on, and that you're not kind of putting yourself in an awkward position in terms of the traffic as well by pitting too early and giving yourself more cars to overtake and more problems.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I do fully agree as well. You've just got to play it smart. Ely and Angelidis, this is the thing. Angelidis' pit stop here was literally 27 seconds. Oh, he's in the wall. Angelidis has just put that Porsche in the wall. Who was it that is either going to be Torrance? I think it might have been Torrance, but Angelidis looked like he has just put Torrance in the wall. we'll see if we can have a look back on that one and see what happened with Kevin Torrance. I'm sure it was Torrance. I don't think it was Petrovsky, because Petrovsky's out, right?
He might still be upside down, but yeah, Petrovsky's not running it. Well, he seems to be back and running again, but let's have a look at this replay and see what happened here. So into turns
7.
Yeah, so it's just a little tap on it, like a pit maneuver, and I'm not sure that's anything to do with George Angelides. I don't think he had much knowledge about that. He might have done it to himself. There's a lot of space to the left of Angelides there, you've got to say as well. That maybe he was expecting him to use more of the track, but it's not quite.
I think that might be Matthew Overton in the Viper. Actually, it was Matthew. It was Matthew Overton in the Viper there. Mr. Reese, Eli hit Subic in the box. Yeah, I know. Eli hit Becky Ely hit Timon Subic in the pit box. Well, there you go. This is all coming out here. We've got Mr. Reese down in the pit lane finding out all of this information, and now she's only 2.8 seconds away from Day is only 2.9 seconds away from Angelides, but Ely's 24 seconds back there as well. So Matthew Overton going into the barrier. The way they look at it, we'll see what happens. This is that lull period at the moment, Steve, isn't it, where people start getting spread out. Ethan Funk and Alexander Schultz aren't too far away with Ethan Funk there. And JT Tammy is sitting in the lead of the LMGT2s. So he currently is in front of Ross Smith. Smith's down in third, but again, a 30-second pit stop faster than Ross Smith. So maybe he has double stinted tyres here.
Yeah, it's hard to work out at this stage as to who is actually where because of the difference in pit stop strategies here between the drivers. But JT Tammy, him just being there and having that position, and Smith looking up in his top left corner screen and seeing JT Tammy in first place, that's going to play on his mind. That's going to make him try harder, to make him try and hit that loud pedal just a bit too hard sometimes. Maybe it's going to force into some mistakes. So it could be a psychological game here that JT Tammy's playing, trying to get into Smith's head.
Yeah, I think Smith might be a little bit more wiser to that. You know what I mean? He's a wise head, that young man. So, but for George Angelides, he has got Day closing up here like an absolute rocket here as well. So Oliver Day closing up on George Angelides for his LMGT1 AMS, now down to 1.7 seconds. Angelides last time out 128.417, 127.946 for Day. So we pulled out half a second here, Steve. This could be an interesting battle for the lead of the LMGT1s.
Yeah, Day, of course, ended up having a bit of an incident early doors in this race, and he's trying to recover that and make his way back. And we see somebody going off track into the gravel on the exit to turn 1 ahead of Angelides there, and he's dodging left, right, he doesn't know which way to go. And look at that, that was so dangerous, he wasn't sure what was happening. Oh, what's happened there?
He's in the wall. Is that Enrique again? I think that's Enrique again that's going to put it in the wall.
I'm lost for words. I'm absolutely lost for words. I'm not sure how you can do that. So convinced, he's just smashed into the barrier on a straight. I think maybe he's
No. Well, he might have had a wheel issue, but he's also DNF'd in the process as Philippe Enrique. So I don't know about anybody else, but that looks a little bit, weird. Prim Farmer, first time viewer here. Thank you so much for joining us. Excellent colour commentary. Cheers, gents. No worries at all. Don't forget, if you are watching on the JPB, go and hit the subscribe, turn on the bells, and don't forget to like as well. If you're watching on CMS, go and also turn on the bells and like and subscribe as well. Both channels are showing this amazing racing, so keep an eye out and see what racing we've got coming up over on the JPB one at the moment. We do have the Super Formula Championship Round 2 from Snetterton going off as well with Zach Sweeney and Dean Biggle. So if you want to go check that one out, don't wait for this to finish first. You know what I mean? But no, you can go and have a look. It's running exactly the same time on that one. Wood de Bruin sitting down in 7th at the 8th overall at the moment, chasing down Alexander Schultz. Going into turn 1 as he goes up the hill here as well. That's Schultz in front of us. Here comes the run from De Bruin. They're going to be side by side into turn 2. on that uphill braking zone as well. De Bruin needs to either settle in or make that move. Don't half it, mate, because you're going to miss out. De Bruin hard on the brakes. Takes the nose of Alexander Schultz there and says, thank you very much. And that Toyota GT1 had to concede over the Mercedes CLMK. So great racing here all round at the moment there, Steve. We've just nearly reached the halfway point as well of the race. You know, Kirby again doing what he needs to do best. Angelid is still leading the race. Day is now in the pits. Tammy leading the LMGT2s and Mayo leading the LMGT2 AMs. Dahlgren's taking time out of Timon Suvic as well, taking out about 2.5 seconds at the moment over the last couple of laps there, Steve. So this could be another battle that could get hot enough as he gets towards the end.
Yeah, possibility that Subic will have to come in early as well, but that was a fantastic move there from Gunnar de Bruin into turn 2. Hard on the brakes, very brave on the brakes as well. Got his nose ahead and chopped the nose off. Didn't allow any option to come back there. But we've got somebody off in the final corner, in the barrier there as well. And that's Jason Whitted, I think, that's gone off in the final corner. Such a tough set of corners, those final two. We'll see if we get a replay of that one for your viewing pleasure. Here he is then, and yeah, it's that curb there, just unsettles the car, gives him a big snap of oversteer, and then he's got nothing but the barrier to aim for.
Yeah, it's always tough, isn't it? It is always tough when that happens. You can see the slide on the curb, you're on the throttle, the car wants to go, the curb turns around and says no, and now it all just goes a little bit wrong for Jason White once more. So tough overall run from some of these people in this race. 13 seconds now from Suvic to Kirby, and an 18 back to Dahlgren, with 29 to Funk and 35 to De Bruin. Angelid is out in front, leading by 20 over Ely at the moment. Dahlgren's about 4.5 seconds back from Suvic at the moment, closing in. Dahlgren last time out as well, 1:27.585. Suvic 1:27.749. Check this out, Dan Kirby 1:24.994. 3 seconds quicker than the two guys behind over that last lap, Steve. He is flying.
Absolutely flying as well, but Magnus Dahlgren's not hanging about either. 25.8 from him at last time out, and he's predicting now for a 1:24.6 as well, so maybe he's got some pace still in his locker, but he's not where he wants to be. He's a 1:27 from Suvic ahead of him, but he wants to be fighting with Daniel Kirby. He doesn't want to be fighting with Simon Suvic, so he's still got a big gap to where he needs to be.
It's going to be hard, I think, for anyone here as well. De Bruin's trying to make his way through, catching cars at the same time, but it is always going to be tough though, Steve, because you're all right catching Suvic, but you know, Suvic's he's not a little dash hound where you go in and start talking to him, he's going to roll over and let you tickle his belly. You know, he's going to put up a fight. He's going to be more of an Alsatian or a Doberman. You know, and I think that's the thing for Dahlgren. He might go and get near him. Great, well done for you, Magnus Dahlgren. You've got down to 2.8 seconds. But you've got to have a go past it, and that's going to be a different perspective altogether, you know. And that's the thing, isn't it? That's the thing. Catching is one thing, passing is another. Smith's also catching Rice, but he's going to be in the same boat. Catching one thing, passing is another. He's down to 1.8 seconds on the gap at the moment. And Alex Garrick on the back of Gilles Lalonde here, of course. Garrick in the Nissan R390, Gilles Lalonde still in that Panos. As well, which has been a great car for the likes of Kirby and Dahlgren all season. So let's see what happens here as Garrick now coming around the exit of turn 4 into 5. The left-hander we go. What's going to happen? Oh, you have got that all wrong there, sir, in that Panos there, unfortunately. And now for Alex Garrick, he's surely got this position in sights here, Steve. I think that's the thing, isn't it? He's got to have a go, and he is trying to have a go as they're coming into the 5 seconds, the last corner here. Garrick in that green Nissan 390 behind him. So let's see how this one pans out. But this has been a nice little close battle as well.
Yeah, it's still carrying on as well, and I think this is the right choice here from Garrick. Wait until the better opportunity. He's going to maybe have a flash up the inside into turn 1, but thinks better of it. Just not the place to make the move. Maybe into turn 2, he'll try and go down the inside, but it's almost certain to be defended. He gets a bit onto that sausage curve there. That can sometimes cause problems, but he's got a run here now, and he's going to go for the outside into turn 2. wheel to wheel. Who's gonna break the latest? Who's gonna get this right? Pulls back across in front as well. Is that a double move? He did look like he defended and came back to the racing line. It wasn't close enough, and then there's Todd pass. He gets him spun a little bit. He gets back going again, and that was so tight. Fine margins there, and gets overtaken as well by the yellow livery car behind. I'm not sure who that is, but he's losing out position and he's not going to be happy.
Yeah, absolutely, they're not there. Either Garrick, that's Dimarzo's made his way through there over Alex Garrick. It would be interesting to see if we can get that from an upper view. Obviously, we saw it from on board, which is always going to be tough to have a look at, but of what happened along the left side. So it'd be interesting to see how that looks like from above. But for Garrick, he's just got to go again. You've got to suck it up. Go after Dimarzo. Dimarzo's got to go after, Gilles Lalonde. So let's see what happens. Yeah, just a little bit too far back on that one. I don't think we're quite going to get it there either this time around, Steve. But moves are moves, and at the end of the day, Garrick and Lalonde now are all mixed up in a battle. They're all literally tied up here. That's Dimarzo, that's Garrick, and Jacob Smythe. It's going to be tough for people, and battling, rubbing as racing. I think Gilles Lalonde has been off the side of the circuit though, because he's at the back of this pack now. So how did Gilles Lalonde end up there? Well, this is going to be here. This is that R390 incident. It's all on his own. Garrick all on his own. He didn't even touch anyone.
It certainly didn't look that way, did it? But just got on the uphill trying to get the good run out of turn 2 there to catch him up in turn 3, and just got it all wrong. Big snap of oversteer. Catches it well, you've got to say, but still loses out of position.
Yeah, absolutely as well. Don't forget, guys, the new merch store is up and running on JPbroadcasting.com. Go and have a look there as well if you want to get yourself some nice, interesting merch. Once more of the Not Gonna Lie range, which is out at the moment as well. So have a look at that one as we go into lap 32 of 59. We'll give you a quick rundown of your top 6 in each class. On the left-hand side, you've got Kirby leading the LMGT1s. Never really looked in danger, I've got to be honest. Dahlgren is caught and passed Suvic there as well. As you can see, the Ethan Funk in Thomas Suvic in 3rd, Ethan Funk 4th, Wouter de Bruin 4th, 5th, John Uyan, Jason Whitehead, Alex Garrick, Gilles Lalonde and Brian Hall. That is your top 10 currently at the moment. So on from that is Alexander Schultz and Felipe Enrique. That's in the LMGT1 Pros, of course. In the AMs here, it is still, I believe, George Andalidis with Becky Ely, Mike Olsen, Jacob Smythe, Barry Dimarzo, your top 5 with Miller, Hutchinson, Dave, Randy Merrick and Gilles Villeneuve. Massive for Hutchinson. He's going to be too far away from Ely. He's not going to score points, but he will get 0.5 of a point. That could be Ely's championship by the time this finishes. In the LMGT2s here, we'll have a look now as well and see it's Adrian Rice still out in front with Ross Smith, JT Tammy and Matthew Overton in the top 1, 2, 3 and 4. So let's see what's going on in the AMs. I believe it's still Peter Meyer out in front by an absolute country mile. It is with Kevin Torrance and very confused, Maximilian Petrovsky, who is out. He's been up on his end. He's done some pirouettes on his rear wing and now he's back in the race, which I'm a little confused about here. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I mean, getting to the bottom of that mystery might take a fair bit of investigation, but in the meantime, we've still got plenty of fantastic racing going on here. And here we have Mike Olsen chasing down another pass here, and it's just non-stop action here in Austria as well. Plenty of moments and highlights, and still a long way to go.
Yeah, I fully agree. There is a long way to go. We're literally now into 25th. George Hutchinson. That's because I was looking at George Andalidis. That's because I was reading Hutchinson on my timing screen, and then I was looking back at the screen. George Andalidis is being obviously chased down by Becky Ely and Mike Olsen here as well. Can we? So let's get some more replay up on your screen here as well. This is basically Tammy having a moment. He may have survived, but where is he in conjunction now? Ross Smith is looking like he's ahead of him, and Adrian Rice. And for Ross Smith, that's going to be a little bit of a good goal to send there as well. So Rice, Smith, Tammy Overton Smith again, racing the person he needs to here, Steve. As long as he stays in front of JT Tammy, that's all that matters.
Yeah, and there's a party going on in Ross Smith's car at the moment as he sees him just making an error there. One of the hardest corners in racing, I think. That left-hand power horse corner is so tough to get right. It's hard on the brakes, it's hard to turn in, it's off camber, very tough. And yeah, a lot of these drivers are starting to find out, like I said at the top of this broadcast, that it's not that easy to track Austria. It looks easy, it's only got 7 or 8 corners, but none of them are easy corners, and it's starting to catch people out left, right and centre.
Yeah, it is, as they're starting coming into this final quarter here, and now it's going to be tough. You know, they've got 25 laps or so remaining, so let's see how it all pans out. Ethan Funk is catching up to the back of Tuvik. Tuvik, you can see him there. Tuvik, unfortunately, it looks like he might not have the pace as he's going into the second half. Could this be the fact that he didn't take tyres, Steve? And it could be the fact that that's why he's struggling now.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most likely reason for that, but maybe he's going to come in early and then get a new set of tyres, and that might give him the edge once he comes out of the pit. But if everybody else takes tyres as well, then maybe not. But 20-30 seconds that he saved in that pit stop over everybody else, we'll have to wait until the end of the race to see if that 20-30 seconds really gave him any advantage. But he's going to have his work cut out now. He's got pressure on from behind, and he's going to have to defend as hard as he can until he does pit.
Yeah. It's going to be tough for anybody that didn't take tyres as well. Oh, Dimarzo it's gone round. Barry Dimarzo. It's not Dimarzo, it's Olsen. That was with Jason. Was that with Jason Whitehead there? And it looked like Whitehead may have made the contact, or was it with Alexander Schultz? I just saw the white livery. We'll keep an eye here as well. We're just going to have a look on the replay and see what goes on. Hold on, we got a bit of a technical issue here as well. Paul with his blonde hair is having a bit of a moment. So bear with us just 2 seconds. There is... We'll get to that replay very shortly as we see these guys battling it out once more on the side of the circuit. Hopefully this will be the correct one. It is. Oh, it looked like he just went off on his own. He looked like he got the exit of turn 1 all wrong there, Steve, and unfortunately for Olsen, terminated himself.
Yeah, certainly did. I wonder if the sausage curb, that deadly sausage curb on the exit of turn 1 had something to do with that. It's very easy to... yeah, we'll see if we can catch the whole thing. We've gone very far back here on the replay, see what happened here. It's obviously the battle, white car behind, putting on the pressure. He's all over the road here already, so struggling a little bit before he even made the mistake. As we come round to the final 2 corners here on the replay to see what occurred. So it's just a very a race to forget here for Mike Olsen. Going so far into the race and then making a mistake like that, costing him so many positions. Disappointing for him, but we'll see here as they head towards turn 1 what exactly happened to the man, and whether or not that sausage curb was at fault. And
yeah, I'd be surprised if it wasn't, Steve, to be blatantly honest.
Yeah,
there you go. It is. Yeah,
2 left wheels into the gravel, and yeah, I mean, you have to be, you know, Michael Schumacher-esque to be able to control the car with that amount of unsettlement on it, and yeah, that's race done for him.
Yeah, I think it will be as well. A bit of information on Petrovsky. Petrovsky pulled the plug and then rejoined the session from the pits, says Ben RM in the YouTube chat. So there we go. We've got quite a big spread here at the moment. Barry Dimarzo is probably one of the closest ones. He was in a mix of a battle at the moment, down in 12th place overall there for Dimarzo, 4th in class as well. So he's probably one of the closest ones in a battle at the moment on track. Everybody else is fairly spread out, Steve. It's almost like they're waiting to come back together again. You know, we've got Miller and Hutchinson on the screen at the moment. This is down for 14th and 15th. Of course, for Hutchinson, this is vital to try and get, you know, stay in that top 6 to score some points to try and make sure we don't lose that gap to Becky Healy anymore.
Yeah, he's going to have that sinking feeling, though, in his cockpit as he's seeing Becky Ely ahead of him, gaining big points and extending her lead in the championship. And yeah, if he doesn't get onto that board, she's going to win it. And he's starting to think in his sweat will be starting to drip, and he was thinking, I need to make my way past somebody if I can. And it's just not happening for him at the moment, is it? But he's got somebody in his sights. Is he going to be able to make the move? That's another thing entirely, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's like anything, isn't it? Catching and passing are completely different here as well. So let's see what they could do once more and see what happens and see if he can catch and pass him as we go into lap 38 of 59, coming down now to 21 remaining. You can see it on your screen, Wayne Hutchinson there battling away in that CLK LM, chasing down Stephen Miller in the same car, of course, different liveries here as well. Hutchinson in the orange with the green skirt, and then you've got Miller with the green with the orange skirt kit on the bottom. So nice little teammates, I believe they are as well. So this is going to be an interesting one here. I wonder if Hutchinson's going to pull a bit of team orders, Steve, and say, well, come on, son, I'm fighting, you're not. Steve?
Yeah, certainly a possibility. And yeah, team orders, it's always tough to take for a driver when you get told by your team, come on, let the other guy through. You always want to get as many points as you can on your board, but sometimes you've got to be that team player, especially if you want to get into the team again next season as well. But never pleasant for a driver to be told, you know, you can't have the points that you've raced hard and deserved. You've got to give them up to your teammates.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot in real life, haven't we? This is the thing, and at the end of the day, you know, it is a tough one. You'd rather have people racing on track than, you know, being told, look, son, shift it over because so-and-so's in the championship fight, you're not really not. Which, you know, is always hard to swallow, but sometimes I think the realism that is the case in real life motorsport, and obviously in our wonderful sim racing bubble world that we live in, as we are going to a replay here as well. This is Randy Marek again having a tough time in that Toyota GT1 there. However, I do love his livery. It looks like a Cadbury's livery.
It reminds me of the marble chocolate bar that was discontinued.
Yeah.
It was absolutely gorgeous. It was a sad day in my life when they discontinued that, stopped making it, because it was absolutely sublime bit of chocolate. But yeah, you come into the league and it's been a bit of a baptism by fire for him, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. But at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is. You live and learn. The only way you're ever going to get to live and learn is by go racing, and the only way you're going to learn is by making mistakes. And clearly for Randy Marek, that corner is not loving him at the moment, because it's twice that we've seen him sitting in that gravel trap as well. So unfortunately, it looks like he might have to get back on a little bit more practice. Wouter de Bruin is literally half a second away from Timon Suvic here. So let's see how de Bruin can do, and whether or not he can take that fourth place, and whether or not he can take it away here, Wouter de Bruin, from Timon Suvic, who seems to be struggling a little bit with traffic here at the moment. It seems to be set up behind JT Tammy.
Yeah, traffic is still playing its part in this race, and it now blocks off Wouter de Bruin from making the overtake as well, which means that he's going to get a poor run, and maybe that gives Suvic a little bit of breathing room, but it's not going to last too long, I think. Wouter de Bruin seems to be catching him a hand over fist, and that short pit stop not working out for Suvic at the moment, but he'll have his fingers crossed that maybe his plan is yet maybe to come to fruition, that it's going to all come together on the next pit stop if that comes in. But 19 laps to go, he's starting to run out of time, and to make this work, to make this strategy work.
Absolutely. I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's trying to get what strategy you've picked now to work. You can't change it now. You're 19 laps away from the end, you know, unless you're Ferrari and you can go on strategy Z by this point. But Kirby's in the pits as well. Ely's in the pits, so they've gone in. Ely's sitting in second in the LMGT1 AMs, of course. Kirby in front of the LMGT1 pros overall. Obviously, we'll lose a position, I think, to Dahlgren because of the pit stop cycle there once more. I think there's a big touch of brakes. I think they're both going in together. Miller and Hutchinson. Hutchinson has jumped to Miller. He has got in front of Miller, I believe, as well, because Hutchinson's in the orange with the green, and Miller's in the green with the yellow, so, with the orange. So, it's all going to be down to pit stops now. Who's going to make what decision, where they're going to go, and how they're going to get out. And I think that's the thing. Let's see what happens here with these guys as well. Is Stephen Miller going to get out in front of Wayne Hutchinson? Kirby, Dahlgren has gone through, Suvic's gone through, Kirby's still in the pits, De Bruyne's in the pits. Edie's going to drop down the order. She's gone in and come back out again as well. So we're in that final stages now, Steve. This is it. Do or die, all or nothing. Let's see what happens.
Suvic up into P2 at the moment as well, and it's going all right considering that strategy we were talking about may not work out for him, but he's there or thereabouts as it stands. But is he going to be able to make this strategy work? Is he going to stay? Like, he could never hang it out.
Never.
Surely? Is he
No.
gonna, I mean, that would be a genius strategy if that works, but I don't think it will.
No, he's too far back, I think. I think he's too far. He pitted on lap 20. There's no way Timon Suvic's making it. Not in a month of Sundays. He could have a go, but it doesn't mean that he's gonna make it. Let's see what happens. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he is going to go for it and pull out a little bit of a dark horse manoeuvre, but I think he's going to struggle a little bit for Timon Suvic. Dahlgren is in front at the moment as well. Suvic's behind him, Kirby in third. Then you've got Smythe, Angelidis, Day and Ely, Rice, Smith, Tammy and Overton, and then Maya, Torrance and Petrovsky, who's still, I believe, driving around on the circuit. So let's keep an eye on this one. See what happens once more here, Steve, and see how we get on as we're coming into them last 17 laps, dear sir.
Yeah, and interestingly, Dan Kirby and Ethan others who have come in for that pit stop there, only 43-second pit stop there, not stopped as long as they did on the first one. So I'm wondering if it's just a choice of whether you go for the short stop first and then the long stop second, and some of them have gone the other way around, but we need to see once everybody comes in for that second stop, who's going to, where's it all going to fall into place, really, and they might see a couple of battles emerging on track that we didn't think were going to happen as people close up on each other with the pit stops and gaining time, losing time. It's anybody's guess what's going to happen. Well, I mean, I can take a pretty good guess that maybe it's going to be Dan Kirby that's going to be on the top spot of the podium. I don't think many people can argue with that one. The guy has been absolutely untouchable once more. It's unbelievable watching this guy drive. He's so clean, so smooth, and barely makes mistakes. We've got Dahlgren into the pits as well. So we'll see what happens there. Suvic comes in as well. So I wonder if this is going to be a longer stop for Suvic compared to those guys, because he went for the short one first. Is it going to be the long one now? Let's find out.
Yeah, we're going to find out and see what happens, because at the end of the day, it's going to be interesting. I think Kirby's going to go and take this as well. I want to know where Ely's going to deal with, where she's going to come out, and what the situation is here as well with Becky Ely. I want to see whether or not she's going to be able to manage it and get power. Oh, that's a Panos, isn't it? Is that the Panos?
Who was that?
Gilles Lalonde?
Not sure who it was, but it was very sideways there, wasn't it? It was well done by Ely to avoid the carnage there. She does a very good job of that throughout the races that I've watched there. She's very good at avoiding the carnage, and that's probably one of the good reasons why she's been so good at her consistency as she gets past a back marker there as well. But yeah, we'll get confirmation of who that was in just a moment for you.
I'm sure. I've got a funny feeling it was Gilles Lalonde, as it looked like a Panos, and he's the only one in the Panos in the field here. So let's see what we've got coming up on the replay. I think it might have been in the pits there. The only other thing it could have been the Mercedes CLK of De Bruyne from the colour of the livery. I don't think there's anybody else really. So there is Gilles Lalonde as well. He's in the Panos. So could have been Gilles Lalonde at the same time. There's a lot going on. Yeah, there's a lot big going on over this period of time. Just don't think we're quite going to grab it here as well. Kirby out in front, Funk, Uyan, Dahlgren, Ely, Day, Angelidis, as we can see Suvic coming out as well. Now we're expecting it all to hot up. John Huyan in fourth place at the moment. He's got Magnus Dahlgren closing him down by about half a second at the moment. Actually, they're nearly side by side here, so we can have a look at the John Huyan Dahlgren battle, or is it John Huyan Angelidis battle we'll keep an eye and seeing how they get on once more. So let's see here as well and what goes on. But yeah, some interesting battles developing.
I mean, one man who hasn't really been involved in any battles at all is that top spot, Daniel Kirby as well. He said, every time I watch this guy race, he seems to just dominate the field. It's like watching Max Verstappen in F1 at the moment. Just no competition for him. But that's taking nothing away from the man himself. He does an absolutely fantastic job of keeping himself clean, smooth, and he's done it once more again today. Every time I watch a race with you, James, he is out there in front by 20-30 seconds.
So let's see how Dahlgren gets on here as well as he's closing down on to John Uyan. Uyan out in front. Dahlgren last time out 124.3. Uyan with a 126.0. So nearly 2 seconds captured there from Dahlgren. So you can see there the gaps on the left hand side are once more to the leaders. We can bring you up the gap to next if we can and show you how far people are apart here from each other at the moment, so you get a little bit of a rough idea where they're going to be towards the end. But let's see what Dahlgren can do as he's closing in on Dahlgren. They are going to be running side by side as well. There you go. Uyan has gone through on Dahlgren. He's taken that position on the entrance into turn 3, and Dahlgren has gone past John Uyan. And there you go, Magnus Dahlgren puts himself up into third. Is he going to be close enough? No, Funk's a long way ahead at the moment, but I don't believe Funk has pitted recently. I'm not sure when Funk last pitted actually as well. So for even Funk there, he's even done an absolutely stellar job. And he only pitted 6 laps ago, so lap 39 gave himself 20 to run. And we know they can run 20. So it's going to be interesting here as well to see how even Funk gets on.
One thing as well is George Angelidis, 3rd place overall, a 15-second gap over his nearest rival in the AM category in Oliver Day, who you have to say has done a fantastic job there, Oliver, of recovering as well. But yeah, I don't know if George can get to the end. 8 laps ago he pitted, he's got another 15 to go. Definitely extendable, the stint, till that till then, but maybe he's going to be struggling on tyre wear at the very end, and that could slow him down. But yeah, Sulik on De Bruyne as well. Oh, he's going to be tapping in the rear there. He got very close to the back of De Bruyne there. But these guys have been battling this way for the entire race. Oliver Day's gone at the pits, and he is now 2nd overall as well. So very good chance that she's going to take home that trophy. Hutchinson down in P6, not doing what he needs to do as it stands.
Yeah, I know. Let's see how they get on once more with Sulik here. Is he going to be able to clear this though? That's the thing with De Bruyne. De Bruyne's going to be a little bit tough to try and finish, to try and get past this with De Bruyne. He was faster the last time out, don't get me wrong, it was like a second quicker, Steve. But it's always going to be tough catching and passing him. De Bruyne's never really been, as by what I've seen this season, he's never really been easy to overtake, and I think that's the thing overall for De Bruyne. You know, he's got to put up a fight for Timon Sulik, but I think Sulik just might be a little bit too quick this time around.
Yeah, most likely. He's going to wait now until turn 2, but it's so difficult to defend into turn 2. Bit of a wiggle there from the Toyota GT1 as they've come up to a back marker as well. That's going to make things more complicated in turn 2. Defensive goes De Bruyne, and it doesn't look like it's going to be an option to make the overtake here. De Bruyne goes slamming into the back of the car in front though. That was a big mistake. A big mistake. And Timon Sulik, hopefully he's going to be able to take advantage of that. That was a murder, that was. That guy had no idea what he just hit.
That's George Angelidis. That was Angelidis. Look at the time from Ely to Angelidis coming down.
Oh, that's caused drama there altogether.
I'm sure that was George Angelidis. He went and punted off.
I think it was. George Angelidis dropped down to P7 overall. He was having such a fantastic race. P4 overall he was before that. And it's all come crashing down around him.
Yeah, it has, as they're coming up here into turn 2. You can see Angelidis in front in that Ferrari. And now, here we go. Boom! Robert De Bruin just missed the pit stop. He missed his braking point there as well. And that was just absolutely unbelievable. Edie's down to Angelidis is now half there. So it's got a little bit of help there. But obviously, you know, it could have been worse for George Angelidis. Unless he's got damage in, he might have to go in there. But clearly he survived. And overall, it must have been tough for, you know, George Angelidis to all of a sudden see Wood De Bruin coming right up behind him.
Yeah, would have just focused too hard on the car behind him instead of the one in front, and it was the one in front that really that was really the danger. But Timon Subic there getting the car turned so sharply there in the hairpin of turn 2. Still didn't get the opportunity to overtake Wood De Bruin as well. Couldn't take advantage of that mistake. But Wood now might have a bit of damage to the front of his car as well, and that might make Subic's job just that little bit easier. But so far, he's Wood De Bruin's making him work hard for it. That's Ross Smith on the outside of them both there as well. Just hoping to not get involved in any more of that corner.
Ross Smith is taking the lead in the class here as well. So for Ross Smith, that's an absolutely stellar job. He's over past Rice by 3.2. So let's see what happens there as well, and whether or not Smith can wrap this up over JT Tammy. That's going to dent Tammy big style. That will allow Smith to almost take that victory, I'm sure, in that championship. I'll have to do some quick maths, but I'm pretty sure that is. There is Angelidis. Is that Angelidis round on the inside? Inside of the final corner, there is a car sat on the inside of that final corner.
I'm not sure.
No,
it was.
it's
It may
not.
have been Oliver Day who dropped down a few positions, but not sure exactly who it was. I believe this is there, still in the lead of his class.
So Oliver Day? Yeah, it might be Oliver Day then. Wow, that was a little bit of a moment as well. How did Oliver Day end up there?
Pointing the wrong way. Definitely don't want that. Oh yeah, I imagine once again that curb on the exit there, just a little dip that if you catch wrong, it doesn't look like it was that though. It looks like he's maybe just got it all wrong on the entry, because he's out of position, out of control well before he gets to that curb. We'll see what happens a bit further back here for Ferrari driver, but not the day today. We've just seen one Ferrari driver murdered, and another man has just committed suicide by the looks of things. But into the final couple of corners, there's a bit of traffic ahead of him. I wonder if this has got something to do with it. Maybe causes a problem for him. He gets a bit wiggly on the exit there, and no, just loses it all by himself. Getting just going in a bit too hot, really, wasn't it?
It definitely was. I think that's the problem for Oliver Day there. Just too many beans on that one. So let's see what goes on here. Who is Subic? Subic still stuck. Subic still stuck behind De Bruin at the moment as well. So Timon Subic there still chasing down to De Bruin. Ely, of course, closed on to the back of Angelidis as well. Let's see how we get on with this next 10 laps here. 10 seconds to go, 10 laps to go here, Steve. 10 seconds for Becky Ely. Can she get a second a lap over Angelidis?
That's a tall order, I think, but she's not been gaining a second a lap the last couple of laps, but she'll have the bit between her teeth here, and we'll be looking at that first position and thinking, that's my championship trophy. If I get that position, it's just going to secure it. But as it stands at the moment, the points thing, I think you might be right with your maths. Ross Smith and Rice going hammer and tongs here, and this is round the outside. Is he going to be able to get it done? It's not looking like it's going to happen just yet, but got one of the LMGT ones in the mix as well, and that's going to maybe put a pause on things into turn 4. Maybe Rice can't get the move done just yet, but he has always outbraked himself, and he managed to just about avoid Ross Smith and gets the inside. And I don't think he meant that, honestly. I do not think he meant to go for that lunge, but it worked out. Ross Smith saw it coming, got out of his way, probably wisely to be fair, and he gets the position. That was unexpected.
Yeah, you don't really want to get involved in that kind of scenario, do you, really, when you've got a car coming up the inside? If you look, an absolute rocket, you know, for him there as well. So fair play to Adrian Rice, managed to hold on to it there in that Marcos and made this move. This is it now. Is it coming down in to turn 3, down into Gossier as well? Let's see this move over again. He goes on the brakes, goes long Smith there as well, almost he opened the door, the Ferrari opened up that door there, Steve, and that allowed Rice to go through. And, you know, Smith was like, well, go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very opportunistic from Adrian Rice there as well. But I think he needed a little bit of help from Ross as well. He needed Ross to see what was happening and to avoid it. Ross certainly did that. But 3 wide now into turn 2. And it's not over yet. It's not over yet. Is Ross Smith going to get it down the inside? He just doesn't get it stopped. He doesn't get it another vote. Oh, the spin! He's out. Rice has lost it on the exit. He's out. He's spun all on his own there. And the pressure has got to him. And he's made the mistake. That gives Ross Smith a very one hand on the trophy now for Ross Smith. And that is not the way we wanted to see it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the problem for Adrian Rice. Did he all get it wrong going up into 1 on the bump? On the inside there as well, up over he goes, he gets it wrong, too many again. Did Smith even touch him? No, surely not, he didn't.
No, I didn't see any contact there whatsoever. There's so much going on, so much for the drivers to think about the different lines that they keep changing and taking, and Ross Smith thought about putting his nose up the inside there, the vortex of danger, but yeah, no contact.
Yeah, no contact at all, just unfortunately went round all on his own there, and a very tough one for Adrian Rice, but that has allowed Ross Smith to go out in front here as well, as we've just lost pictures. We will bring you back to the action. There is Becky Ely now as well. She's chasing down Angelidis. The gap's down to 6 seconds. 6 seconds, 7 laps here, Steve. Could be an exciting one from Ely.
She might just do this, you know. She's, as I said before, she's got the bit between her teeth. She's starting to put the hammer down. And Angelidis maybe in a spot of bother before the end of this race. He may be carrying a little bit of damage after contact with the barrier, after being resoundingly murdered by Woodard de Brian. I don't think there's any other way to describe it. He got punted into oblivion, really. Big mistake from him. I mean, we all do it. It's just, we're all human. None of us are robots. It's a very easy mistake to make. But Angelidis is going to keep his eye in that rear view mirror now, and Becky Ely getting past the back marker there into turn 3, and she's on a charge.
Yeah, absolutely, Ely is. She's pulling it down to 5.7. She's going to have that bit between the teeth. She can see that Angelidis might have a little bit of damage after being ceremoniously punted off into the shadow realm there as well. So unfortunately there looks like John Huyan is off the side of the circuit as well, coming around that last corner. Watch for the rejoin here as well. He has managed to get through, and there at the base you can see we're just going to bring you up a replay of what happened. The Suvic and Wouter de Bruin behind him. Unfortunately for John Huyan, it looks like he has just got it all a little bit wrong on his own here, Steve. I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's making solo errors is always going to be causing problems for people.
Yep, and the man who doesn't make those errors is the man at the top of the order at the moment, Daniel Kirby. That's a big hit on the barrier, that one there for him, isn't it? But Daniel Kirby, a 1:23.8 fastest lap of the race. Absolutely untouchable. Oliver Day back in the wars again. It's once more those final 2 corners catching people out, and you just can't get it back on track. It's almost collecting somebody else as well, but gets it certainly the straight line and out of the way just about in time. And those final 2 corners taking lots of people out, getting it very easily. It's that curve, it's so easy to go wide.
Suvic has managed to clear De Bruin as well, so Timon Suvic has put himself up into 4th place. 6 laps on the clock. Becky Ely, 5 seconds, 5 and a little bit. Now down into 4 very quickly. So Ely, tough ask, but she seems to be doing a great job at it.
7 laps remaining here in Austria, Spielberg, Austria, and it's been a non-stop action race. We expected this. It's a short track, there's lots of traffic, and we've seen plenty of battles on track, plenty of individual mistakes, like you were saying there before, James. It's so easy to do around this track. I think people take this track for granted at times, that it's easy because there's so few corners to learn. Those corners are hard to learn, and some people are finding that out the hard way as well.
Yeah, exactly. It is. You've got to be careful. The thing is, you can do the same, like some people, you know, for the likes of John Huyan, he's probably done the same for 54 laps there, Steve. You know, he's done the same thing, the same line, the same situation, and he's got away with it. And then all of a sudden, that one mistake, and the track just spits you out. The curb, the sausage curb, they're all dangerous points on this circuit, especially going out of turn 1 and coming out of turn 3. You've got to be careful of them sausage girls, because if you're not, they're going to put you into the wall. And you know, Daniel Kirby's shown everybody here how to do it. Angelidis, he's lost. Ely cleared Angelidis.
Oh, how did that happen? Angelidis must have made a mistake, surely.
She was 4 seconds back.
Yeah, now he's 4 or 5 seconds behind, so it must have been a big mistake there from Angelidis, but no off track on our timing screens at all. So, but Ely takes the lead of the class, and that's she can taste that trophy. She can absolutely taste that trophy now.
Yeah, there is George Angelidis. We're gonna push this. So we've gone back quite a long old way here. So this might take its time to actually mature as to what actually happened. But George Angelidis, he lost somewhere. There's Ely in the background, so she's not past him yet. Then she's going to be coming up. There she is in the behind in that McLaren there. So where did you get it all wrong, George? And where was somebody off the side of the circuit behind us? Angelidis is still leading this, Steve. We're going to have to go back. We're going to be honest, we're just going to have to sit here and wait because Becky Ely's still there.
He got punted again. Oh my
God.
He got punted again. Oh, I mean, Angelidis, I don't know if he's going to be laughing or crying in that cockpit at the moment. I think
was that
it was
a
big contact. I think it was Brian Hall in the McLaren that I've already got off a little bit wide, hit the sausage curb in turn 1, and then just got the brake all wrong again into turn 2. And that's the second time the same corner. We did a Brian first time round. Dick dug the knife in, and then Brian Hall's just twisted it. It's Angelidis is going to be extremely disappointed with this. He had the win in his hands. There was only 4 laps to go. Becky was catching him, but I think he maybe had enough in the tank to defend it.
No.
Jacob Smythe now right behind him also as well, and he's going to be crossing his fingers and toes, thinking, please don't get put in the game. It's not got his way. He could end up in 3rd place after 2 big incidents that weren't his fault, James. Nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I know, and I feel sorry for George. I feel sorry for George. He is going to be livid, and if he isn't livid, then I think he should be. Because being punted off in 2 corners, exactly the same corner, is very difficult. Now we've got the LMGT2, Smith and Rice in the bottom right hand corner there as well. We'll keep an eye on that action. So Smith is leading the class as we're going into the last 3 laps now as well. If Smith does this over JT Tammy, lap 56 of 59. So let's see what happens here with Smythe and see whether or not he can catch Angelidis and whether or not Rice can catch Smith. There we go as well, Steve. Action all the way here.
Yeah, 4 laps to go, and it's still non-stop action here, and it's been such an entertaining race. So much going on. But Smythe in this Toyota GT1, 1 second to Angelidis, and Angelidis, you're right, he's going to be absolutely livid in that cockpit. It's just a simple error. Anybody can make that error. Getting onto the brakes just a little bit too late, and I'm wondering whether or not it's just maybe Angelidis is braking a lot earlier than everybody else, and it's catching them out. But that's still not his fault. You're allowed to brake wherever you want to brake, and yeah, as long as you're doing it that lap, there lap after lap, and but yeah, Short Class Cars just not accounting for that difference in pace, and yeah. It's a tough one for him to take.
Yeah, it definitely is. So George Angelidis is in the pits at the moment. I'm really not surprised at that, to be honest. That back end has taken a little bit of a beating. So, you know, maybe he's got damage, maybe he's running out of fuel, maybe he's going to have to try and do, I don't know, he may have repairs, who knows? Or he may just turn around and go, I've had enough of being punted up the bum, I'm going home. So he might be just taking his steering wheel, Steve, and saying, see you later.
Yeah, equivalent to the teenager taking the ball home and napping off home, isn't it? But the man was in P4. Bit of action here between Adrian Rice and Ross Smith. And Adrian Rice gets past once more. You've got to say, Adrian Rice, the pace he's shown to catch back up after the error he made earlier in the hairpin is something else. And I think it was a mistake from Ross there that allowed him past. in the end as well. And the battle of the ages between those two, they've really been going at ham and tongs. But Ross Smith cares not a jot. As long as he beats JT Tammy, he'll be happy. But looks as though he just runs wide here. Gets, just a bit snap.
Ooh,
bit of a
snappy.
snap there off the curb. But he did very well to hang on to it. But Adrian Rice just said, thank you very much. I'll take that right off you, can't he, from the B?
Yeah, I've got this now though in the standings. I have got JT Tammy will be on 44.5, I believe, as we wait for the pictures to come back. Ross Smith will be on 68.5. So I've got a funny feeling that's it. I think Smith has wrapped that up, as has Peter Meyer. Becky Ely is going to be a little bit more tricky to work out, but I've got a funny feeling she's going to have enough to get past, to get this wrapped up here as well. So the only championship that really might be still up for grabs over the next 2 rounds is the LMGT1 Pros here, because I think the others are going to be wrapped up as we're on the final lap here as well. We're not, nearly on the final lap, I should say, as these drivers go over. We're on lap 58. One more to go here, Steve. Kirby's win all the way, right?
Well, yeah, Carlo passed him. There's 36-second gap back to Funk. Funk, I have to say as well, he looked impressive in practice beforehand, and he's up to P2 at the moment, beating Dahlgren, and that means that Kirby's going to extend that very small gap that he has of 3 points at the top of the Pro Championship even further. Ooh, bit of a dodgy jump out of the way there from the Porsche. I think that was maybe just a mistake, not really trying to get out of the way, but that was interesting.
Very much so, as we're being serenaded by our wonderful producer in the background here. Paul's singing in our ear up, so that's nice. We're on the final lap here as well, so let's see how this all goes on. Dan Kirby coming along for the final time up into turn 2, Steve. He's been mighty, isn't he? Mighty.
He certainly has. He certainly has. It's a joy to watch him. It's like watching Haaland play football, do you know what I mean? It's like watching Lionel Messi dribble past 7 players. It's just faultless, and he's done it yet again, where he's just had one of those races where he doesn't make a single mistake, not that we've seen anyway. He doesn't get involved in battles with anybody. He clears the traffic in short order, nice and smoothly, without incident, and he reaps the rewards of that in the end. 37 seconds the gap now, fastest man on track by a long way. With the fastest lap, he takes pole, takes the fastest lap, he takes the win. It's a grand slam.
Yeah, I think so. To be honest, absolutely, he's going to wrap it up here once more. You can see that is De Bruin in the background. He's chasing down Timon Super. He is now almost home. Is Dan Kirby. It is going to be Kirby. He's going to come over the line. He's almost lapping Wouter De Bruin and Timon Subic. Dan Kirby's taken that victory in that LMP GT1. Great job from him. Let's pick up in the AMS. Is it still going to be Becky Healy coming over the line in first place in the AMS? It looks like it is. Here she comes now, takes the lead. I've got a funny feeling that's the championship as well, if my maths are correct, and a great job from her there as well. In the LMGT2s, it's going to be Adrian Rice coming over the line. You can see the Subic De Bruin battling, and now going literally, they're practically throwing the cars at each other there, Steve, in the bottom right hand corner.
Yeah, they certainly are. They're thinking like time for a bit of fun. He's got past, he's got past though, so lost it as well. There you go. He pitches the bottom right hand side of the screen. He's desperate to get back on the track in order, but that final lap misery for Wouter De Bruin, and I mean, George Angelidis might be sitting there thinking, well, that's just dessert, isn't it? You shouldn't have pointed me on the backside in turn 2, but
I mean, that was Brian Hall was the one with Angelidis there.
It was both of them, wasn't it? It was twice.
Yeah, it was Wouter De Bruin and Brian Hall.
Oh, apologies. I'll get there in the end. Don't worry. It's the drowsy cold medication that I've been taking for all day.
No worries there, bud. I'm sure you'll be all right. Don't you panic, dear sir. You know, we all make mistakes. It's all good here as well. So that is it now as well. We are looking at the Subic and De Bruin line. So this is what happened with Wouter De Bruin in the black Mercedes. Subic here as well. They were literally at one point leaning on each other. There was a little bit of leaning going on as these guys were coming on this final lap. There was Yeah, it looked like a bit of a spicy action there, Steve, as well, as it goes to send it down. There it is there. That's the first initial point of the contact. Then there's another point there. Now they're going at it again, coming into turn 5 here as well. And then De Bruyne ends up going round. Now, whether or not he went round on his own, he did. Yeah, I don't think he was touched there, Steve, but great race there from all of these drivers as well, of course.
Yeah, those two guys on the limit, the very limit there for Wouter De Bruyne. Well, went over it, didn't he? But what a fantastic race this has been. You had to kind of get your deck chairs out and get the beer opened and have a couple of sips between Daniel Kirby crossing the line and then Ethan Funk going over it. But lots of action, and yeah, big congratulations to Becky Ely and Ross Smith, who look to have secured their championships, and Daniel Kirby taking charge of his championship. But there's still 2 more races to go. It's probably maybe going to go down to the wire because Magnus Dahlgren's never too far away, but P3 is going to be a disappointment for him. He wanted the P2 or at least the P1, in order to kind of crank some pressure up on Daniel Kirby, but the man's unflappable, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. You can see the results on your screen. Dan Kirby takes the victory there with Ethan Funk in 2nd. Magnus Dahlgren in 3rd. Timon Suvik 4th with Wouter De Bruyne in 5th. John Uyan in 6th. Becky Ely wins the LMGT, the LMP ones there as well. When I get my teeth working. Great job from her. Brian Hall in 8th and then Jacob Smythe in 9th. Jason Whitehead in 10th. As we go on to the next page, George Angelidis in 11th with Gilles Lalonde in 12th. Barry Dimarzo down in 13th with Stephen Miller 14th, Oliver Day 15th and Wayne Hutchinson in 16th. Not going to be ideal. Alex Garrick 17th, Alexander Schultz 18th, and then Randy Marek 19th with Gilles Villeneuve down in 20th place. Then you've got Adrian Rice ahead of Ross Smith, who's ahead of JT Tammy. That's more important, with Matthew Overton there as well. And then finishing off, you've got Peter Meyer, Kevin Torrance and Maximilian Petrovsky, who I believe did do some laps after we saw him upside down. Mike Olsen, Philip Enrique, Freddie Hell, and there was a couple of others, I believe, who DNF'd, I think, or was it just them? No, it was just them as well. They ran out the top 30 there as well. Great racing from all of these guys. We can have a chat now. Let's start off with, I'll tell you what, let's go down and pull one Mr. Adrian Rice into the booth here as well. Adrian, welcome in, dear sir. How are you? Can't hear him.
Too many buttons to turn on, that's what the problem is.
Ah, there you are, young man. How are you, dear sir?
Oh, well, I like your definition of young, but I'll take it.
Hey, just accept it. You know what I mean? We're nice on this channel, you see. We make you feel loved. And at the end of the day, you must have loved that racing today as well. You and Ross Smith going backwards and forwards. Couple of mistakes on your part as well. But I think the racing overall has been quite absolutely amazing between the two of you.
Yeah, well, yeah, he was good in qualifying and practice, and we were close all through the race, and yeah, just a couple of stupid little mistakes at the end there, but yeah, managed to keep it together enough.
Yeah, we did unfortunately see one of them mistakes there as well. But at the end of the day, racing's racing, and you're only human, Adrian, you know what I mean, as well. First, is that your first race this season?
Second, I raced the Viper at what that A1-Ring or whatever is in the rain.
Oschersleben.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the one. Ah, right. I was just wondering because you're not on the timing, on the championship sheets. There you go. But there you go. Overall, what's the plan for you then? Are you coming back out in Miami? We've only got a couple of races to go.
Yeah, I was planning to do this whole season. It's just that I had a few personal things to do and missed a whole heap of races. So I just thought, it wasn't. Yeah, just didn't work out right. So I'm going to plan to do the last couple of races. Yeah.
Awesome stuff, Adrian. Well, congratulations on your win in the LMGT2s there, buddy. Anyone you want to shout out before I let you go?
Oh, just good racing with Ross there. Did good close racing is always fun, even if there's only a few cars. But we had a good turnout tonight for GT2, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Adrian, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure to speak to you. I look forward to seeing what you can do at Miami.
We'll do my best.
Take care, buddy. Right now, we will have a chat with Becky Ely, of course. The lady was in second, and then unfortunately for Georgia Angelidis, there was 2 incidents from other people that may have sent George into the shadow realm, and Becky was there to snatch up that first place, take that win overall in the LMGT1 AMS. We believe as well, if my maths are correct, never trust a commentator in maths, may have won the championship before the final 2 rounds of the end of the season. But let's welcome her into the booth, everybody. Becky, welcome in. Pleasure to talk to you as always.
Thank you very much. First off, I just want to apologise massively to Timon. I hit him in the pits. So I'm very, very sorry, Timon. I was looking forwards instead of backwards to make sure I didn't run into the car in front, and I pulled out on him. Rookie mistake. So sorry about that.
Yeah, we did see that. Somebody did put that in the YouTube chat, actually. Told us that you went and hit Suvik in the pits there. Well, you're lucky enough. We didn't see it.
Might be a bit angrier with me.
You'll be all right. I think you have won that now, to be honest, in that championship. I don't think Hutchinson could catch you going into the last 2 races.
I think so. I'm not sure where he came, but I think he had to come top 3 if I won, and
Yeah, and he
George
didn't.
was 3rd, and yeah, so I think that's it. So
yeah, is it?
Wow.
I've got you calculating at about 71 points, I think. Hutch was only on 47 going in. I don't think he scored points for being into the top 6. He might have got a point for the half point for finishing 75% of the race distance. So I've got him at 47.5. You on 71. He can only get to 67. So yeah, really, I could sit here and say congratulations on the LMGT1 AM Championship, Becky.
Thank you. It's a shame, really, that George was taken out in this race. We were heading down for a last few lap battle because he hadn't changed his tyres all race. So I was closing in on him. On the second stint, I closed in about 18 seconds. And then it went back up again, the gap, to 30. And I just started closing when he had his first incident. And he had a splash and dash to do. So it would have been really tight whether I was able to close enough to get past with the splash and dash or not. So it was really, really shaping up to be an epic showdown between us, which would have kept the championship alive. So that's a bit of a shame. It's lucky for me. Everything came up Millhouse today for me. But it's a shame that we didn't get that battle. Because our strategy was so different, it wasn't going to be until the final few laps that we met.
Yeah, it definitely was different. You were doing a stellar job closing in that gaps as well. Going forward then, you're the champion. What are you going to do in Miami? Are we going to see a special championship livery on that McLaren?
I don't know. I doubt it. I like the Turtles livery too much, and it's only got 2 races left. So I don't know. Maybe I can put a different picture on the roof of my car, a different picture of the Turtles.
You could make them gold and have gold on your car for a winner.
That's a bit up your own arse, though, isn't it?
Well, that and the swearing that we'll completely ignore for everybody at home in YouTube chat, of course.
Really a swear?
Yeah, well, I know,
but
we've got to be a little bit careful.
Up your own bum, then.
Thank you very much. Yes, but sometimes who else is going to prop you up if you don't do it yourself?
Yeah, I'm super happy, but I think gold for winning AM's a bit much.
Nah.
Like I'm over the moon, but no gold for AM. I think maybe some bronze, silver. I don't know, or just a little cup somewhere. Something a bit different.
So you're going to put an Easter egg on your car that we've all got to try and find out where it is.
That sounds like a fun idea. Let's go with that.
All right, go with that one as well. But Becky, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure talking to you as always. Anyone you want to shout out before I let you go?
I would like to have a shout out to pretty much everyone in the league, really. It's such a fantastic league. I joined it the beginning of this year, started sim racing the beginning of this year, found this league and loved it from the first race. Everyone is so nice and it's so professional, but also relaxed. So it's just, there isn't a better environment. And if anyone is watching, come race as well, because this is just the best place to race. It really is. So just thank you to everyone. And then a big thank you to Yuki Takanashi, who again has been helping me perfect my setup and giving me a few tips and stuff on driving and helping me along. So the McLaren was not a contender for this race, and Yuki really helped me make it a bit more of a contender before everyone took themselves out.
Awesome stuff. Well, Becky, thank you so much for joining us there, and we look forward to having a chat maybe in Miami again, and seeing if we can find your little Easter egg that you're going to put on the car.
Well, thank you very much. Have a good night, everyone.
And you take care. Right, next up is your LMGT1 Pro winner. He went out, he decided that he was going to take it from the front. Him and his just Saturday afternoon drives continued on. He did it with success. He did it with miles to the next one. But let's have a chat with Dan Kirby and see how he feels about it here as well. Dan, welcome in, sir. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
What? Dad, you made it look so easy. Every time I talk to you, you know what I mean? You're sitting on, what's that now, 5 wins in a row? You know, you've given yourself a good old championship hope between you and Magnus going into the last 2. Come on, Dan. You've got to be super happy with how you're doing here this season.
Yeah, I've been really strong with these 98 cars for some reason. I think I just like know how to work the tires really well, apparently, because it's really about like not overdriving and like putting too much wear and heat into them. They kind of just have to manage your own pace. And yeah, I don't know. I just seem to be doing pretty good with these.
Yeah, you definitely do there as well. Going forward, though, 2 races left that still cements you top of the championship. Do you think you can wrap this one up?
Not sure, because I'm not sure if I'm gonna attend both races left. I might just do one, or I might miss both. I'm not too sure yet. So hopefully I can find the time to attend at least one of them and see if I can hang on. But yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens.
Dan, you were so close. You've literally got one hand on one side of the cup, dear sir. Why, you know, I would be clearing my calendar, clearing the schedule. Off you go, I'm racing. I don't care what all of you are doing. I'm wrapping up this championship.
Yeah, I'll try, but yeah, hopefully.
Now, Dan, I'm sure you will. Look, an absolutely stellar job done from you here today as well, dear sir. Anyone you want to shout out before I let you go?
Yeah, just thanks to everyone here at CMS for all the awesome racing. This is just so much fun.
Absolutely. Well, Dan, thank you so much for joining us there, bud. And we look forward to seeing, hopefully, seeing you at one of the last 2.
Yep, thank you. See you guys.
Take care. Well, there you go, Steve. That has brought another race to the end. As we say, we've got 2 races left to go. We've got Miami and Laguna Seca. Of course, they will take place. Miami is on the 25th of November, so you do have a good few weeks to wait on that one. Laguna, the week after, don't forget, we're going to get the new historic announcement of what years we are going into. Don't forget as well, guys, on the 11th of November, we do have the Modern Series, the 80 Minutes of Bahrain here as well. So stay tuned and keep an eye out for that one. No, Steve, epic race to finish today on, to be honest with you. Nice little battles on the way through. Just gutted for George Angelidis, I think.
Yeah, I'm almost glad that we didn't have to suffer his wrath in the broadcast booth for an interview afterwards as well, because I'm sure he would have been absolutely livid with what happened today. But we've still got action to happen in the final 2 races and a pro championship to decide. And like Dan Kirby says there, if he misses one of those 2 races, that's going to kind of blow that wide open, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It could actually jeopardize it altogether. You know, so I think that's a shame if that happens, to be honest.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. It's yeah, sometimes life gets in the way. But what's more important than racing, James? Really, something's more important?
Have you met my wife? You know what I mean? you know, at the end of the day, you've got to think, mate, woman leads. No matter what the man says, the woman is the boss. But there you go, guys. That is going to bring it to the end of this broadcast here this evening. We're going to wrap it up before we get ourselves in any more trouble with the wives. I've been James Parfitt alongside Steve Carabellis. We've got the wonderful, the Mr. Lovely Paul Glover in the background as well. But for now, guys, from all of us up here in the JPB broadcasting booth, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.